Davison here. So this is a reaction video to Logan Paul's deleted vlog where he visited the suicide forest in Japan. And for those of you who don't know what the suicide forest is, it's pretty obvious. It's a forest where people have gone to commit suicide. And there's a whole bunch of different sort of legends about the forest wherein the souls of the people who have committed suicide will haunt anybody who visits. I don't know extensive information or historical information about the suicide forest, but I do know that Logan Paul visited it during his trip to Japan, and he discovered a dead body. Now, instead of making the vlog more somber, and there are moments in the vlog that are really serious and somber, the bad thing is that his vlog ends up taking on kind of a lighthearted tone, especially towards the end. And he's wearing a pretty idiotic hat from Toy Story to make matters worse, which he never takes off despite discovering a dead body. So people are up in arms about it, and Logan Paul has actually deleted the video. So if you want to see the video, I will actually include a link to it in the video description. I don't know how long the video is going to stay up for, but I actually think you should watch it because it's kind of a case study of what you shouldn't do when you discover a suicide victim, especially if you are a vlogger as influential and well-known as Logan Paul. So full disclosure right now, I am a grown-ass woman who is a fan of Logan Paul. I don't know if you've seen it on this channel, but I became Logan Paul, quote unquote, for a week, and I tried to vlog in his style for a week. It proved very challenging. It's very exhausting daily vlogging. It's exhausting trying to come up with new topics every day. It does force you to try new things and to be more interesting, but I think it also, as we just saw in this suicide forest video, it forces you to do things that push the envelope in ways that sometimes are not kind to other people, or are dangerous to yourself. Yeah, I mean, Logan Paul and his brother, they live for controversy because the moment, people start talking about you, it only increases your infamy, which eventually translates into your fame unless you make a very horrible misstep, right? And do I think that the way Logan Paul reacted to the suicide in the forest means that he should lose everything that he's built? No. Does it show that he's perhaps very self-serving, immature, and egotistical? Yes. Even me, someone who has admired, Logan Paul pretty consistently for the last couple of months, I see that he really didn't handle it the way that he should have. He should have immediately upon discovering the dead body, he should have taken off his fucking stupid ass hat. I mean, come on. That's the least you can do. A lot of the reactions of his entourage were very, I don't know, they seemed like they were in shock, but they almost seemed really lighthearted and giggly. And it's almost like you could tell that they weren't thinking, oh my God, we discovered someone who just killed themselves. What was going through their minds was, oh my God, do you realize how many views, this video is going to get because we just found a dead body? And I mean, YouTube system and American star culture rewards that kind of attitude, right? It's like, maybe it's part of being a part of a really harsh capitalist society wherein the end justifies the means. You're programmed to be as productive and to become as rich and acquire as much wealth and popularity as possible in American culture and in capitalism. So when you are confronted with a moment that is going to bring you more in terms of, what your primary objective is, you react with joy as opposed to being somber or analyzing the situation emotionally. Like, there's an emotional disconnect that I clearly saw in the video. So somebody actually just asked the question, what does capitalism have to do with someone killing themselves in a forest? course. Well, what I'm saying is Logan Paul's reaction, as strange as this sound, and the reaction of his entourage can sort of be explained to a certain degree by what capitalism and what, you know, a star system or a fame system does to a person. It rewards them putting themselves in dangerous or what's the word that I'm looking for? Unusual circumstances or provocative circumstances for the sake of seeking more press or for the sake of seeking more views. So what I'm saying is that capitalism rewards antisocial behaviors. It rewards going for the story as opposed to thinking about the people who are involved in the story. Do you follow me? So Logan Paul is very much a byproduct of the culture that he came from, is what I'm saying. But him as a human being, let's not forget that he is only 22. He's led a fairly sheltered life from what I can tell. He has lived an extraordinary life. But I mean, I think back to when I was 22. That was a very long time ago. Even I would have had the fucking respect to take off my cartoonish hat. I also would not have closed the vlog by asking people to subscribe to me. Like, are you kidding? Like, that is, again, just back to the whole vlog. The reason he released it, the way that he edited it, was to drive more traffic to loganpaul.com/merch and to drive, you know, more views from negative media coverage. Because in his mind and in his brother's mind, any press is good press, regardless of whether or not it's negative. If he was, you know, somebody who was close to me, but like, there are ways that you can edit a video like that that's still respectful. I mean, I like the fact that he opened with links to where you can call if you are having suicidal thoughts, you know, in North America, in the UK, and in Japan. The music in the video itself was very fitting, I found. It was very cinematic, very emotional. But where the video broke down and where it's offensive is clearly the fact that instead of honoring the person that chose to take their life, Logan Paul saw it as, you know, an opportunity to release yet another, wow, today got so real, such an epic fucking vlog. You know what I'm saying? And that's a severe emotional misstep on his immature part. And maybe moving forward, he will be more mature. However, if we can take PewDiePie as an example, PewDiePie did not learn from his first mistake. PewDiePie went on to make additional mistakes, went from Nazism to using the N-word. I don't think this is the last time we'll see Logan Paul do something that's offensive, that's, you know, even intentionally provocative for the sake of generating controversy, which will ultimately result in more views and more popularity and more exposure. I mean, and it, you know, in a way, it doesn't shock me what he did, because the majority of YouTubers that make it to the top are very self-serving, unemotional people. Like, I'm sure Logan Paul, I'm not going to vilify him. I'm not going to say he's totally evil, because he's not. He's a human being like the rest of us, and everybody does handle, you know, encountering death differently. But, you know, most people who choose to become YouTubers think more about themselves than they think about other people. You know, there are some exceptions to that. I'm sure, like people who are doctors providing medical advice on YouTube, it's probably a little different. But vloggers that I know, political pundits that I know, they're lying to you if they say that they don't think about their projects first and what they can get out of this system before they think about who they're talking about, how it affects them. You know, Keemstar is just as evil as Logan Paul. Come on. Let's not pretend that he's not. But Keemstar has done some great work. He's also shown that he's a massive douche that just wants to stir the drama pot. Logan Paul has been very prolific. He's done a lot of interesting, well-edited vlogs. He's built a merchandise empire for himself. He is inspiring young people to follow their own paths. This is positive. But equally, Logan Paul is egotistical, arrogant, brags about all the material things that he's acquired, doesn't teach kids how to behave emotionally in a very mature way. So he is, you know, entirely He's a flawed, imperfect human being, but this is very, 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 very predictable. So I'm going to go to the audience who's watching. Thank you to the 26 people who are watching. I generally vlog on this channel. This is not my main channel. My main channel is Davison Video 1. I do a lot of weird makeup tutorials and funny, sexy content. So I kind of separate when I'm being a little bit more serious onto this channel. So yeah, I mean, I only saw the video because my friend Rob Dyke, who is a horror YouTuber, posted about it. And this isn't the first time that Rob Dyke's kind of gone after Logan Paul, because Rob Dyke is upset, and I mean, understandably so, about the way YouTube culture has shifted between, like the adpocalypse and the rise of these Viner, vlogger, comedians into something that's much more commercial, much more based on how you look, much more juvenile, and much less about, intelligent, unique content that has an edge. And so I think Rob sees Logan as representative of like what he wishes YouTube wasn't currently. But so I went into the vlog, the Suicide Forest vlog, thinking maybe Rob was being a little too harsh on Logan, because I think Logan has faced a lot of excessively harsh criticism, maybe via envy, because everyone wishes they could be as popular as him, but also because he clearly makes content that is for a very young audience, so he behaves often like a 14-year-old boy, yet he's a 22-year-old, almost 23-year-old man. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think Logan Paul deserves the criticism this time. And I think the vlog could have been handled in a much more productive and respectful way. It's nothing he should be proud of. And really, that hat, I hope nobody ever wears that hat in public ever again. Now it is associated with the fucking Suicide Forest and laughing about, gleefully at the fact that you just stumbled upon a viral video in worldwide press because you found a dead body. It's just, ugh. Okay, so let's read what you guys are saying. So suicide is not cool, definitely not Rispergu. Good that he removed the video. Yes, that I suppose is the right move. I already answered Finska's question about what capitalism has to do with someone killing themselves. Capitalism has nothing to do with the death. Capitalism has to do with the way Logan Paul reacted to the death. In a culture where we are rewarded for our output and for our productivity, when we encounter a situation that doesn't harm us personally, but yet might be emotionally challenging, we'll take the selfish path because we've been trained as people who are part of a work-focused capitalist society to think about the bottom line as opposed to thinking about human beings. We're not part of a very collectivist socialist society. I hope that makes sense. That is going, that is kind of perhaps a little bit of a leap in logic, but I kind of wanted to address that because Logan Paul really, he absolutely captures the zeitgeist of the celebrity vlogger generation. And the zeitgeist of current American capitalism, right? Albeit in like a tangential way. Okay, so let's just go back to what you're saying. It's all for the views, brah. Yeah, well, definitely. That's what he does. Everything Logan Paul does is very calculated. It's partially because he loves entertaining and he loves making people laugh, but it's equally because he wants to drive more sales to his merch empire. That's why at least twice every video he always says, go to loganpaul.com/merch, right? I even have memorized that because he repeats it, repeats that marketing refrain so often. He has intentions of turning his merch store into a global brick and mortar clothing empire. And believe you me, he's going to do that. Jessica Simpson managed to do that. I think Logan Paul with his fan base, and his fan base, his hardcore fans, will forgive him for this, especially because he took the video down and especially because he apologized on Twitter. And even though he acted like a disrespectful douche who didn't take off his hat and didn't decide to not make jokes after he discovered the body. there were a few very dark jokes that he made that I thought were, unacceptable, given the circumstances. But yeah, he's going to recover from this, guys. This isn't the end of him by any stretch. Okay, so back to you guys. I'm missing something, the small man. Well, I hope you are caught up by now. Game Glass says, I'm very pissed at him. Danny says, I missed part of this broadcast. Well, I'm going to upload this whole broadcast so you can watch my thoughts. I hope my thoughts have been clear on this. I've had a very long day. But I wanted to address this because I think this is this is a very important moment, I think, in vlogger culture. What is the limit of acceptability of content that a vlogger must abide by? You know what I'm saying? Like, making light of death crossed the line, and maybe visiting the suicide forest for a laugh is not something anyone should ever attempt, or don't stay overnight in a graveyard. Like, you're gonna die someday. You want a vlogger laughing while they, smoke a bowl over your headstone? I don't think so. If you wouldn't want it done to your family, don't do it in a vlog. Should we maybe all agree that that's how Logan Paul should behave? I mean, he won't. He won't. We haven't seen the worst thing that he's going to do. You guys realize this, right? And, people who are willing to go further and do more shocking things get further. Especially on what is pretty much reality television. Jersey Shore only did well because they were a bunch of drunkard idiots. The Simple Life with Paris Hilton did well because they were two privileged dimwits doing stupid things and acting like assholes. So it doesn't serve Logan Paul well and his ends, to be a kind and good human being. And if you want that to change, then start watching vloggers that give a fuck about other people that do good things. Start doing that. Right? So, Take My Clout says, we can accept Logan Paul's apology for laughing at a suicide victim, but not Jake Paul for setting his pool on fire. Okay. Well, I mean, I think some people have accepted Jake Paul's apology. His popularity has only increased since that incident. Bradley says YouTube wants to make everyone that type of robot. YouTube just wants to reward success, and remember, half of YouTube is now a computer deciding what is successful. So if you want something to disappear, ignore it entirely. Don't click on it. Don't comment about it online. Don't react to articles about it online. Pretend it's dead. Pretend it doesn't exist. Because that's the only way that we can discourage this type of content from spreading. So Kurita says, I never expected that from him. Honestly, it disappoints me. Yeah, well, I had started this broadcast with saying, like, I am a fan of his. I admire what he's accomplished at his age. But he revealed that he's very much still an overprivileged, immature, 22-year-old, jock today. That vlog could have been so artful. It could have been so poignant. They could have told, maybe they would never have discovered the man's identity, but I was like, they could have told his story. Again, if I was his friend, I would have been like, dude, you're not releasing this. This is horrible. And maybe he would have been like, well, but no, do you see like how many views this is going to get? We got to be a little bit controversial, to up our game, man, to spread loganpaul.com/merch or /shop. But I would have been like, no, if it was, but I'm not as popular as Logan Paul. Not even if, I'm not even a fraction as popular. So I will not be calloused for the sake of gaining popularity. I'll be sexy. I'll be weird. I'll talk about controversial things. But I mean, I'm too empathetic, and too caring to just create something that's like, that involves the suffering of other human beings, because I know it'll benefit me personally. So yeah, like it's very disappointing. So Someone said, I'm glad he deleted it. That's what Nivian said. And then Kara says, me too. Yeah, he did the right thing. He did do the right thing. But the video is going to live on. I mean, segments of it obviously are going to be in other people's reaction vlogs. I found a re-uploaded version of it. You can find it if you search for it on Twitter. The Rob Dyke tweeted it. I think everyone should watch it because it shows you how not to react to finding a dead body. So Lacing says, I've never saw someone that disrespectful to make fun of someone who took their own life and make a video about it. Yeah. So Kirito says, at least he should have some consequences as well. Well, I mean, how YouTube could deal with this is to give him a strike. I mean, I feel like he violated community guidelines by showing a dead body hanging. The video was age restricted. I don't know if he had age restricted it initially or because people flagged it, it wound up age restricted. I don't know if YouTube itself told him to take it down. But yeah, how YouTube could punish him and discourage this type of content is by giving him a strike. And that'll take away some of his account privileges. As silly as that sounds, like him not being able to live stream or him not being able to, I don't know what you get when you get a community guideline strike. The first one you can still upload, but I think you can't live stream. You know, that's a pretty serious punishment. You have to live that out for like 6 months. So I think that maybe would be fitting in this case. I don't know. Who's a freak? What do you mean, Nivian? Really though, seeing is one thing, but going closer to it and being so loud with that body in his presence, even after, is just so much hate. So Kirito said he should have some consequences, and I like the way you think. Well, thank you, Kirito. Yeah, well, Menard, yeah, I it was gross. Like, dude, we just saw a dead body. Oh my God, is this fucking real? What do you think, Logan? Like, come on. You are a very bright young man. Like, break character, okay? Break the jock character. Because I know it's partially a character, Logan. And go, guys, this is unbelievable. I just found a dead body. There is a man, I believe, who's hanging on a tree over there. And this is sad. This is terrifying and heartbreaking. And I know we made a mistake. He could have even admitted to the mistake in the moment. We were going to stay overnight in the suicide forest because I don't believe in the paranormal. That he probably should have included that too, right? This was sort of intended to be like one of those styles of videos where it's like, oh, 3 a.m. with ghosts. But it unfortunately devolved into a very real situation, and we need to end the vlog now. And not show the dead body, not show the blood that had drained down to the corpse's fingers. Take off your fucking hat. I can't repeat that enough. If you come across something that is, a human being that has died, for Christ's sake, take off your fucking hat. Put it here. Put it on the ground. Like, you know? It's not a joke. It is sad. It's entirely sad. And he handled it poorly, and it's maybe the trashiest video that Logan Paul has ever released. Has he lost me forever as a viewer? No. But it's, he needs to grow the fuck up and man the fuck up. He should even make a video, I would say, apologizing and explaining himself in a way that isn't juvenile, in a way that's stripped down. Be the man that you are, Logan, at 22. Don't, almost 23. Don't be like, I'm going to break a plate. Fuck, man. I never thought that it was inappropriate to, react with giggling shock at a fucking dead body, bro. Yo, bro. Sit there and, focus and apologize sincerely. And don't do shit like this ever again. So he will definitely be apologizing tomorrow. It won't even be a vlog, says Uter. Good. Steve G says, but as for other consequences, now worse things are online. Well, that doesn't justify the content of the video just because there's, very terrible things online and graphic things online. That doesn't mean that his should be allowed to be online. I mean, I think, like I said, the video does deserve to stay up, if only to show people how not to behave when you encounter a dead body and you're a vlogger. And also to serve as an educational piece on how out of touch a famous vlogger can become, or an educational piece on the ills of the lengths people are willing to go to get people to talk about them on social media for the sake of YouTube fame. No one is forced to be sub to his channel, and you said you aren't. No, I am subscribed to his channel. I told people before at the beginning of this broadcast, I am literally a fan of Logan Paul's. I would love to meet him. I would love to talk to him. I would love to brainstorm with him. But I see his lack of personal evolution because he is a white boy from, is it Ohio? A white boy from Ohio who grew up middle class, who is somewhat college educated, who's very intelligent, who's good looking, who's never really suffered a day in his life. So this is what happens when you give a lot of fame and money to that type of kid, with a lack of life experience. He does douchey things. Once you guys are older, because I think most of you here are under the age of, 25, you'll know that we all go through a phase in our early 20s where we're kind of out of touch and we're coming into our adulthood. That said, like I said before, most of us are more respectful when we encounter dead bodies. But most of us are not the type of personality that becomes hyper successful and famous because we are so self-serving and egotistical. So Respirko said, I didn't know that Logan Paul. I thought you were talking about Wolverine. I don't know what you're talking about. Take My Clout says he already apologized on his Twitter. Won't let this get to his channel. Good looking, says Pumpkin Spice. You don't think Logan Paul's good looking? I think he's very good looking. Eliana says, just watch him post I'm sorry videos soon. I don't even want to hear an apology from his pathetic mouth, says Eliana. I do want to hear an apology. And like I said, I want him to break character. I want him to be serious, and I want him to be, remorseful. And I want him to not plug his fucking channel or ask people to subscribe at the end of it or talk about his fucking merch shop. Leave the capitalism at home, honey, if you're going to apologize about the way you disrespected a dead body. Yeah, it was disrespectful, Candy. So Kurita says, even if he is a vlogger, he should never have chosen to go to the suicide forest. We mourn whoever it was, not freaking laugh. That's right. Well, the only reason he did that, guys, is because the suicide forest is very well known, and because there's a genre on YouTube right now, which Guava Juice, I think, has even participated in, wherein you try to stay overnight in a haunted house, or you try to wake up at 3 a.m. and not be attacked by ghosts. So he was just playing into that, genre. And clearly he's the type of, atheistic person who doesn't believe in ghosts or spirits. So he just thought it was no big deal. And maybe we are sheltered in North America because we don't have things that are like suicide forests. Our culture, I don't know if this is talked about much, but I think it's more common to take your life in Japan. I think the suicide rate is higher. I don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure, and I would love if somebody could look that up for me right now. But because we are not exposed to suicide as much, because we don't have as many holy or spiritual locations in the United States and in Canada, I think we're more prone to just not take them as seriously, or not approach them with reverence like we should, and respect. Yeah, and back to me saying Logan is a byproduct of capitalism. Logan is also a byproduct of being an atheist and being raised, in a secular system. I'm not saying there's, absolute virtues to being religious. But there are some pros, being that you think a little bit more about life and death, I think, when you're religious than when you're raised, an atheist or agnostic. So yeah, like I said, he made the video because it's part of the genre that's popular right now, or style of video that's popular, and it's a well-known landmark in Japan, and I think he truly thought that nothing was going to happen, and he's lived such a sheltered life that he just didn't think that in a forest where you commit suicide, you might find dead people, and nobody stopped them from going in the forest. Their guide even brought them there. So it was minimized in their minds from the beginning, and that's why it had the outcome that it did. He should never have worn that hat into the forest. The hat is what is killing me, guys. Like, you're a goofball, Logan, I get it, but like, why did you wear a stupid fucking Toy Story hat, dude? Like, ugh. Logang Amino are trying to defend him. Or you mean Logang Army? Steve G says, I'm not really believing and wouldn't do that. Oh, you're not a believer in God or in religion? Yeah, well, back to Logan is a little bit more of an insensitive, egotistical, immature human being than you are. And, you know, I don't know how his parents raised him. I don't know if he's so wild and so extroverted that his parents couldn't control him and couldn't manage him. He's definitely different than the average human being. So, and that's not all positive, right? So because he has lower inhibitions, meaning that he doesn't control what he says or does and doesn't fear the judgment or care about the judgment of others, he's more prone to doing things that are like inappropriate. Maybe he has a lack of impulse control. Maybe he is slightly, I don't know, he's, like I said, he's definitely narcissistic and egotistical. That doesn't mean that he can't care about other human beings, but he serves himself and thinks about himself first and only secondarily about the emotional ramifications of whatever he says and does. So Bradley says, I miss real people. I'm a real person. I'm not a fake ass person. So Karita says, you are so mature for your age. I'm proud of that for you. Well, no, I'm 40. I'm an old ass lady. So I've arrived at all of these conclusions through a very long life, and it's not over yet. So Bailey says, hello, I just came here. So Charboy said, the anime man covered this too. He basically made a statement saying anyone who goes to Japan at all should look up basic culture etiquette. I absolutely agree with you. Maggie says, as disappointed as I am at him, this must have been a really traumatic experience. Yeah, if he was approaching it as a real human being, taking things seriously, of course it would be highly traumatizing. I remember the first time. I remember the first time I saw a dead body. I actually, it was the second time. The first time was when I was really young, and it was at a funeral, and I didn't really fully understand what I was seeing. It was my grandmother. But when I was older, again, in my mid-20s, I went to my then boyfriend's colleague's funeral, and the guy, it actually put me off of going to funerals, to be perfectly honest. The guy was laying in an open casket, and there were like 100 chrysanthemums around him, those flowers. And he looked so stiff and lifeless and not like the man I remember, and bloated. And people were eating, what I recall is like people were eating like little hors d'oeuvres because it was like the viewing of the body. And I'm like, how can people be fucking eating when there's a corpse of their former colleague laying there? But apparently this is part of Quebec culture, where I'm from in Canada, on the Catholic side, wherein they have open casket viewings where everyone gets together and mourns the dead, but also eats and drinks. Like, I'm like, whoa, no thanks. So for me, yeah, encountering that as a conscious, young adult, it was very marking. And I'm sure it has changed Logan Paul. If he really sits down, meditates on what just happened, meditates on the backlash, and suffers some form of consequence, being, I would think, at worst, a strike and a good talking to by the brass, the upper management at YouTube, it could be a positive thing, right? And remember, guys, not in his defense, but as an explanation, he is in a weird mental state, undoubtedly, right now. Think about having that much fame and influence. And then think about vlogging every single day of your life. Even just the commitment of vlogging every single day of your life. Oops, I'm losing the connection. Shit. Are you guys here? Sorry, no, my connection is bad. Shit. Why is my connection bad? Hold on. Max? 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 What? Are you overloading the internet? Because I'm broadcasting right now. Shit. Can you guys still see me? Crap. Sorry guys, if I'm acting weird right now, it's because it's flashing very bad connection and it's like, oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I lost a few of you. Where were we at? Oh, yes. Think about the headspace that Logan Paul's in right now. Like, even the commitment of vlogging every day of your life is going to make you detached from reality because you're essentially turning your life into a movie. Logan Paul in his head right now is the main character of an epic film in which he has never failed. So he feels all powerful. He feels all influential. He feels rare, precious, and he feels like a superhero right now. So that's why in his own mind, he thinks of everything as just a story and not quite real life. I'm sure it's damaging to a certain degree psychologically. He's probably a little, the whole video is proof that he's kind of out of touch with reality. And now I think reality, given the backlash, has slapped him back in the face and said, no, dude, you are not a character in an epic film. You are a human being who runs a vlogging channel. Think of yourself as a human being who must negotiate this world instead of fictionalizing your whole life. You need to come back down to reality. Maybe the suicide was a sign of that he has ascended too high and has lost touch with what is real and what is kind and what is fair and what is suffering. You know what I'm saying? He's old enough to know better. I agree with you. But I think everyone matures at a different rate. And I think the fact that he found success so young has kind of warped him a little bit. Again, this is not condoning or accepting what happened. This isn't giving him an excuse. It's merely offering an explanation. Ethan says he needs a manager whose head is screwed on straight. That's assuming that there are managers that exist whose heads are screwed on straight, because my experience with managers has been that I had one manager. No, I had a couple. I mean, they have their pros and they have their cons, okay? But they're in it for the money. So they kind of don't care that much about what their talent does. And the type of human being who goes into managing other human beings' activities for a cut of their pay, it takes a specific kind of user personality type. So, I'm not going to be absolutist and say people are all bad or all good. Managers have their pros and they have their weaknesses. Just like vloggers have their pros and they have their weaknesses. Maybe his mother would be a good manager. Yeah, she seems like a nice lady. From what I've seen in his vlogs, she seems like she's a kind lady, and apparently she's a nurse or was a nurse. So that shows that, she devoted her whole life to taking care of people. But then she wouldn't be as business-minded, perhaps. I mean, you can be a nurse and you can have a good business sense. Clearly, she raised 2 sons with very good business sense, if a lack of, social propriety or decorum. Yeah, I don't think it's really good necessarily to be managed by your family. I think it's like they're too close to you. Your family's supposed to be kind of like your support system, not your business partners. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hold on a second, guys. I will be back in 1 sec. My camera is, my phone is losing its charge. 1 second. Switch rooms because Sorry guys, I just have to switch rooms because there's no outlet that's nearby. So just a second. I have to plug in. Just 1 second, guys. Sorry, just a minute, people. Okay. Hi there. Okay. Let's not lose this. Just a second. Whew. Sorry, guys. One more minute. Let me just move the light a little closer. Good enough. So let's go back to what you guys are saying. Where was that before my phone started to die? Do you watch the Gym Tracker channel? You look like Jen Tracker. Well, I don't know what Jen Tracker looks like. This isn't about me though. I hope Jen Tracker is attractive. Do you sell that hoodie at Davison Merch? I do not. Let's not talk about merch. Thank you, Canelo. CDTV says, I never said it was right, but he was trying to offend, but he was trying to offend anybody, or he was trying to offend people intentionally? You think he was being intentionally provocative? Basic says, even if he is human, of course, humans make mistakes, but he made so many mistakes already and he has not learned yet from any of it. Well, that's because people don't change or evolve until they suffer setbacks, failures, and consequences. And Logan Paul still has not failed. He's not any less popular. He's not any less rich. He's not any less promoted by YouTube. So until any of those things happen, he's not probably going to change who he is. He also hasn't suffered, like, say, a serious illness. That's why people mature as they age, because of pain and suffering. I believe the story of Buddha is about that. He was evil until he went beyond the wall and partook in human suffering. You can't be a good person until you've experienced suffering, because then you behave in only a way that is based on your own personal pleasure. And you behave in a distorted way, and it's, it makes room for behaving in ways that are vice-ridden as opposed to ways that are kinder or more virtuous. So Bradley says, I gotta go check on my package. Have a good night, you too. Celtic says, he thinks he's unstoppable and that's why he doesn't care. Well, right now he is unstoppable. Until he faces consequences, he is unstoppable. And this is just more publicity for him. I mean, I've now gone live for almost an hour discussing this issue. Buddha was a prince, that's right. So you guys are arguing in the comments. I feel that he should not have shown the body in his vlog, says Mass Swenson. Yeah, or Ma Swenson, I don't know how to pronounce your name. That was one of the things I took issue with, was the fact that, they did a close-up on the coagulated blood in the corpse's hands, and they showed that he had personal belongings still in his pockets, and that there was like a good, I would say, minute of just shooting the corpse for the sake of giving people something to talk about, and for the sake of more footage to be shared on social media. Yeah, the moment he found a dead body, as I was trying to illustrate before, if you missed that portion of the broadcast, he should have taken off his fucking dorky ass retarded hat. And that's actually an insult to people who are developmentally delayed. So he should have taken off his freaking hat, put it down, turned everyone away, said, oh my God, someone call 911. Like, that wasn't even the first thought that he had, right? His first thought was, oh my God, guys, the vlog has never been so real before. We just found a dead body, bros. As opposed to like, guys, someone call 911, there's a body. Like, I think that would have been my first reaction. Would have been like, how can I help this person? What if this person is still alive? You know, because someone can look dead and just be passed out, okay? Instead, they went and encircled the dead corpse and took more video footage while waiting for the cops to come. Just watch the video. It could also be fake. That's very possible. He claims it's real, Andreas, but it could be fake. Let me just scroll up to more comments. Happy New Year's to you too, everybody who's here. Martin Trent says, I mean, he doesn't really have any respect. I think that's a little unfair. I think that North American culture needs to work on seeing things in shades of gray and appreciating and acknowledging nuance. So I'm not all good. There are things about me that are terribly shitty. But I have a lot of positive qualities, and I'm sure you do too. You know, those who are without sin are allowed to cast the first stone, as they say in the Bible. None of us are without sin or negativity. So it's not fair to say that Logan Paul has no positive qualities. It's not fair to say that, you know, he's completely emotionally stunted permanently. It's just not true. I just think that he is a young man with a lot of power and influence who has put himself in a headspace where he sees reality is not quite real. And he knows that controversy sells, and he gets rewarded every time he does something controversial or makes a shitty song or rides girls like a bicycle. So he's going to do what gives him more money and more power and more attention as opposed to doing the right thing. Because there's more pluses to doing the selfish thing as opposed to doing the right thing. So I don't know if YouTube needs to change its policies again, but remember, every time YouTube changes its policies, a lot of us who are well-intentioned suffer. So can you see the actual video? Yes, Carlos, I was going to link to it after I wrap up this broadcast in the comment section and in the video description, because I think everyone should see it, if only to know what not to do when you encounter a dead body and how not to behave on a vlog, and to show the ills of what happens when a young person is given a lot of attention and fame with zero limitations as to what they can and cannot do with their content, aside from maybe community guideline strikes. And I think the appropriate punishment for him in this case is probably to get a strike that he has to live out for 6 months. So I've lived through strikes. I've done things that YouTube has deemed inappropriate, and I learned from it. I mean, one of the strikes was wholly undeserved, but yeah, another one I guess I warranted it, and I changed as a result. Thank you, Canelo. Logan Paul is turning into his brother, to be honest, says Nevea. Nice to meet you, Nevea. They're cut from the same cloth. They're from the same family. I don't watch Jake Paul, so I can't really speak about, what he's all about. I've just, seen a lot of negative press about him, from him bragging about how rich he is, to him cheating on his girlfriend, to him mistreating his employees, to him, I think there was something about him making a sex tape with another girl, proving that he cheated on his current girlfriend. So yeah, has Logan Paul been embroiled in those kinds of scandals? Well, yes, Logan Paul brags about how rich he is. Logan Paul brags about how popular he is. So Logan Paul's also a braggart like Jake Paul. But Logan Paul, as of right now, seems to be a little bit less negative overtly or aggressive towards other people as compared to Jake. I don't know. Again, I don't watch Jake, so I don't know. So Matt says, if you don't like them, why do you watch them? Don't pay attention to them. Well, I never said I didn't like Logan Paul. Like I said, I admire Logan Paul and what he's accomplished, but I think he has shortcomings. I started watching him because I wanted to know why he was so popular. So in the summer of this year, if you go back in my videos, you'll see that I tried to become Logan Paul for a week. So I called myself Logan Paul's crazy aunt because I'm older than him. And I tried to be as high energy and obnoxious as him. I threw around a plate because, he used to like to break plates. I screamed about my life. But I found, quite frankly, the whole process to be very exhausting because it's very depleting and repetitive to vlog every single day of your life. And I think it's unnatural. And I think that's partially why him and Jake are making such terrible decisions, is that they never get a day off. Their work has become their life, and their work is partially fiction. So they start to, I think both of them are a little detached from reality and how you should behave. And they don't have bosses, so they're never reprimanded. They're never told no. And they've had incredible years that they will probably never replicate for the rest of their careers. So they're on a high right now. So that's why they're doing so many stupid, obnoxious things, right? And also, it seems like Logan Paul's parents never disciplined them when it came to like how they acted out or would like say throw things at each other. Like I saw Jake Paul throw a sword from like the second floor of his house when they were visiting his parents over the holidays, and he didn't warn his mother before fucking chucking a sword out of the window. If that would have been me in my house growing up, my mother would have screamed at my ass and I would have been fucking grounded for a week. If my son, I have a son, did that, I would be like, my entire apartment building would hear me, okay? If my son were to ever throw a sword out the window. And this is a man who's 20 or 21 and he's still throwing swords. I know they're doing it for the sake of the vlog, but I think they weren't raised right. They were never disciplined. Both of them are what happened, are representative of what happens when you have two very intelligent, bright children who are very close in age and you do not discipline them. Instead, you let them raise themselves. I think that if we're going to analyze the psychology of the Pauls, I think what happened is that the mom had, had Logan and then Jake back to back and was like, hey, they're close in age. Let them just play with each other. And they're like, you guys go do things. We're just going to sit here. And I don't think they were sitting there. I think his mother was probably always working. She was a nurse and probably did shift work. I don't know what his father did for a living. But I think that they were very detached and very permissive. And when you're too permissive, your children are not fucking well behaved. Throwing a sword, like that has always given me pause about Logan Paul. Like the way in which I think that we wouldn't get along. Like I think intellectually we'd get along. I think I find him funny. But I think his relationship with the risk and his the stupid things that he will do without warning you first is something that I couldn't live with. I would just get too upset. Like they were also playing with cans of gasoline in a vlog. And the girl, you could tell it was a very real moment. She's like, there were 2 cans that were empty and 1 that was not. She was holding the can of gas that was clearly filled with gas. And she was like, you guys are flicking a lighter and I am fucking holding a canister of gas. Like, fucking stop. And they kind of, reacted like, oh, we didn't even think about the fact that you're holding a fucking canister of gas. Well, you should have. Again, they were never taught to think of the consequences of their actions, so they don't. They were never taught self-control, so they don't always show self-control. They were never taught respect when it comes to, your performance choices, so they don't have that yet. They will change. Time will change them. Time will humble them. Time has humbled me. Time humbles most of us people who are good. And I don't think that the Pauls are profoundly evil. I just think that they are immature and entitled. I'm a subscriber. You have to slide into my DMs. I'm sorry, Canelo. I do talk to people who follow me. This is not my main channel. This is my vlogging channel. But I'm not in the market to being picked up right now. I don't date fans. So Tony says, Yeah, they should have stopped filming as soon as they saw the body. Exactly. Guys, I'm just going to take off my hoodie because I am roasting. I'm wearing 3 layers. Hold on. Oh. Just a minute. Sorry, guys. This is the second time I've streamed today. I already streamed on my main channel today, so I'm a little... I wasn't intending to go as long on discussing this, but there's a lot of people here and there's a lot of people that want to talk about this, so I think I'm going to keep broadcasting for a bit. Hoy vey. I'm a hot woman. Okay. Unsubscribed and ask her out. Very funny, Big Bub. That won't work. So... sorry, I'm going to go back to your comments. So... Walter says, simply laughing at suicide is not okay in the first place. They could have kept quiet and turned the camera off. Why the heck would he continue filming? And his friends stood there and did not stop him. We don't know exactly what happened. I feel like based on the way his cameraman reacted, I think his cameraman was the rational adult of the group. And his cameraman seemed to be a lot more somber and respectful, if you watch the video, than he was. I think I have said this already in this broadcast. Logan Paul was thinking, oh my God, I have a viral video on my hands. Not every video that Logan Paul makes gets 20 million views, but probably pretty much guaranteed that if you find a dead body and you vlog it, you're guaranteed tens of millions of views, which can only stand to benefit him, if not in the short term, in the long term, and definitely in the mainstream press. So, I think that's why he kept filming. And maybe this is still calculated in the sense that he knew that it was risky publishing it. He knew that he did not react in a way that was entirely respectful. He even cracked a few dark jokes. So he knew that he would probably get backlash, but that it probably wouldn't matter so long as he apologized, and that the video would still live on, providing him still with the exposure, the views, and the discussion that he basically fuels his career with. And that is the goddamn mother frickin' truth. A normal person like you or I would encounter a dead body, not film it. We would scream, someone call 911. We would turn off our cameras. If we were wearing a stupid fucking hat, we would take it off. And if I were to make a video about the suicide forest, it would be intelligent. It would be very respectful. It would be educational. And it wouldn't be a spectacle serving to get people to subscribe to my channel and buy my merch, okay? But I am a different type of creator than Logan Paul. I don't serve the same type of audience. I am older than he is. I am a woman. Not that that makes a difference, but I'm a lot more emotional. And so I think he's just a byproduct of the culture in which he was raised, the household in which he was raised, his intelligence, the exceptional, unusual, surreal year he's been having, and the lack of consequences for him behaving poorly. If there's no consequences, then you're not going to change your behavior. So Britt Girl says, thank you for saving me from bad streams. Well, thank you, Britt. You're the one for real. So Walter says, I get what you're trying to say. Am I making sense, Walter? I hope I'm being coherent. So Basic says, it's not the only reason to turn off the camera for respect. It's a law from the Japanese government to turn off camera or all other devices. Oh, specifically in the suicide forest? So Sheila says, oh my God, he made a video about him going to the suicide forest. Chill. No, there's nothing wrong with him doing that. It was how he handled the situation once he encountered the dead body that was problematic. It wasn't the act of going there, though someone just said that you aren't allowed to film in the forest. So he was also doing something illegal, clearly. Yeah, they approached the situation as if it was just another joking video where you survive fake ghosts at 3 a.m. instead of seeing it as a real forest with a true history of people ending their lives and sort of a spiritual sanctuary for those who choose to end their own lives. A bunch of people record there. Okay. So Budek says, hello from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you too. So Big Bub says, I have to see this video to get the context. Go to my Twitter. Go to twitter.com/DavisonVideo, and you will see me responding to Rob Dyke, the Rob Dyke on Twitter, and he tweeted a link to the video. I don't know if it's still up. It was up as of 10 minutes before this broadcast. It may have been taken down. I don't think so, though. I think Logan Paul wants the video to stay up. I don't think he's going to delete any of the videos that are left up. The way that they'll be taken down is if people flag them and then YouTube takes them down. I think he still wants the controversy from this. He wants the negative attention that it drives, and it also galvanizes his fans. If you do something controversial as a popular creator, there'll be a bunch of people who are opposed to what you just did, but in a weird, perverted way, it actually makes your fans support you more, because they're like, no, we know him. He's a funny guy. He wants the Logang to be mavericks, live unusual lives, make a dent in the universe. He didn't know how to react. Just forgive him. And then they see the influx of people being like, Logan Paul's a douche, he's an asshole, he's insensitive, he's a jerk, he shouldn't be as popular as he is, he's trash content. And it makes the fans feel like they're more united, and they're united in a cause, which is defend Logan Paul and excuse his bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Logan Paul apologized. He took the video down, and now I think he's just going to, unless YouTube gives him a strike, he's going to just reap the benefits from this situation, which people will forget about, quite frankly, unfortunately, within 3 weeks. And then it'll be the next controversy or the next controversy. The face of the body was blurred out. That's right. Sorry, this chat is cancerous. What do you mean? I hope this video is not, because I'm trying to analyze and deconstruct what Logan Paul just chose to do, which was a very selfish thing. Make a really superficial and self-serving video about an actual suicide in the suicide forest, as opposed to making or releasing a video that was a lot more serious, that was a lot more considered, and a lot less self-serving. There are ways that he could have released this story without coming off like a douche and without being a douche. But he is living a very extraordinary year, and he's never failed, really. So, of course, he doesn't always know how to behave correctly, and that's not an excuse, it's just an explanation. So Wall Street Text thinks it was fake. Again, it's possible he's claiming it's real. So Yandere Chen says, I didn't see the video. If you want a link to the video, go to my Twitter, because I can't tweet it out right now. I'm live broadcasting from my phone, so I don't have the ability to tweet the link. But if you go to twitter.com/DavisonVideo, so the name of this channel, Davison Video, you'll see a link to the video. And you will be left feeling rather sad. If you're an empathetic person, if you're a compassionate person, you're going to kind of feel bad after you watch it. And it is disturbing. So if you're triggered, or if you're, hypersensitive to death or suffering, you're probably going to feel a lot worse after watching the thing. But the video is a good example of how not to behave when you encounter a dead body. It's also a good video that illustrates what happens when a young man is given too much power and influence with zero guidance and zero consequences. The Sea of Trees is sad. So Bolton says, keep up the great work. I support your views. Have fun. Bye. Bye, Bolton. My Twitter's twitter.com/DavisonVideo. So Aiden says, I don't think it was fake. The dude's hands were blue. Yeah, they were purple and blue. You could fake that, though, on a fake body, on a fake cadaver. You could paint the dummy's hands, so it still could be fake. He drank sake. I don't know what that has to do with anything. He drank sake before going to the forest. Well, that could explain his douchey behavior, because he was slightly tipsy. Or did he drink sake afterwards? Oh, yeah, because I didn't really pay attention to that portion of the vlog. It was towards the end. I was too busy, being in shock and thinking about what I would say about the video. But yeah, he does chug something at the end of the video. So that is sort of also shitty if he chugged sake jokingly to emotionally deal with finding a dead body. So Aiden says, I don't know. I mean, he does joke a lot in his videos, so I see why people think it's fake. Yeah, and it could be faked. It's something that could be. And it seems too convenient that they go to Japan and then they go to the suicide forest. Though, let's all remember, it is the suicide forest where people go to commit suicide. So it's pretty logical that you might find a dead body there. But yeah, it does seem a little bit like convenient in a very negative way, but convenient in terms of creating a controversial, compelling entertainment product that there just happened to be a hanging victim there that they could easily film the exact day they decide to try to spend the night in the forest, which even spending the night in a forest is risky, no matter who you are, no matter how much security you have. So, it could be a convenient out to find a fake dead body so they don't have to spend the night there, right? It sort of solves the narrative of the video right away. So yes, it's possible it's fake, but in all likelihood it is not. And if it's not fake, you would think Japanese media would report that it was legitimate. Has anybody done that research yet? Have there been reports from Japan that American YouTuber Logan Paul went to the Japanese suicide forest and a dead body was found there? Someone please, can someone in the audience please confirm that for me? Because yes, if the media is reporting on it being a fact and that they've substantiated it by police reports, then it is real. Pulse Tank says Logan Paul's amazing. Well, I in some ways he's amazing, and in some ways he needs to grow up and be more respectful. In some ways he's talented, in some ways he's immature for his age, and he needs to think more about what he releases before he releases it. And he said as much, I think, on his Twitter. Jill says, oh my fucking God, YouTube took the video down. Which one? They took down Logan Paul's video or the one that I had tweeted? So Joseph says, I didn't find anything when I looked before. I don't know if there's anything out now, but please read. I'm reading. Fernando says, much lack of respect from Logan. I agree with you. He didn't take off his ridiculous hat. He cracked a few jokes about, oh, so this is the first time you've ever been by a dead body, bro, or be around dead bodies much. That was, the gallows humor was not a good choice. He asked people to subscribe at the end of the video, which is like, no. After you find someone who's killed themselves, probably because they were in immense personal anguish, don't ask people to follow you. Come on. You should turn into a news report. Your vlog should be a news report and should be a respectful production the moment anybody dies. You know what I'm saying? Has the video been taken down? No. Well, okay, I don't know if the re-upload that I found has been taken down. But I do know that Logan Paul chose to delete the vlog, and he issued an apology on his Twitter. I can read to you guys his apology in just a second. So Cal Kie says, Logan is a shitty person who doesn't deserve all his subs. I am going back to saying that we are all differing combinations of good qualities and bad qualities. I think he needs to be humbled. I think he needs to learn more respect. I think he needs to become more emotionally mature. I think he needs to have his power checked. That's probably going to happen. And I think maybe he won't immediately realize the negative repercussions of this moment. It will take him losing popularity naturally over time for him to realize, suffering losses himself, seeing his, not his brother die, but seeing a family member die, seeing a family member get cancer. He hasn't lost anyone truly close to him, it seems. So it's going to take him, experiencing that on a very personal level before he realizes that it's not just a joke and it's not just unimportant when somebody else dies, that they suffer just as much as you have suffered when you experience the loss of your own loved one. Oh, it looks like my connection is bad again, guys. So Walter Sim says, personally, sorry guys if this is slow, Personally speaking, this situation should not die down so fast. This can be taken as proof that if he does not change his morally, he should not influence his viewers as much. Yeah, well, he apologized, like I said, on his Twitter. I mean, he does cater his content to a younger demographic, so it is sort of unfortunate that he didn't act in a more, mature and sensitive way towards this incident, and that he sort of reacted to it like a kid would, downplaying it, laughing it off, behaving like someone who's in grade 6 who's like, oh, I don't know what to do once I found a dead body. I'll just here's a link to a suicide hotline, instead of really unpacking the whole situation. I think Logan Paul admitted himself that he has a hard time just sitting in front of a camera and talking to the camera and offering his thoughts, and reflecting on whatever it is, like reflecting on a recent world tragedy, or reflecting on the way the press or whatever, or the way his audience views him. So he hasn't trained himself yet to be self-aware, or to be aware of, current events, and not just, he's so self-involved, guys. This is a guy who's really young and self-involved. So he doesn't think of the meta. He doesn't think of everyone else. He doesn't think of how we are part of a greater whole. We are all part of a system. We're all interdependent. We all need one another. When one of us suffers, the others end up suffering. He doesn't inhabit that network in his mind. So until that happens, until he broadens his view outside of himself and broadens his intellect outside of himself, he's still going to be a bit of a douche sometimes in his videos. He is a human. He's absolutely a human being. He's a jerk. Well, I would say sometimes he's probably really nice and really funny, and he's always nice to his fans. But sometimes he behaves like a bit of an emotionally oblivious, attractive douchebag, who has never suffered and never experienced much rejection or, personal loss, no deaths in the family, like, that are really close to him, no large stretches of joblessness, no failures that have cost him millions in terms of his business ventures. So he lacks perspective, but he'll get it. Trust me. Once you experience enough losses in your life, you start to appreciate the good times, honor the good times, and honor other human beings, because you never make it to where you are going at it alone, and you have to be mindful of other people's limitations, and he's just not yet, because he sees himself as limitless. He shouldn't have posted it, says Kalista. Yeah, I think that he should have posted about it, but he should have perhaps crafted the video differently. William says he tried saying he came from nothing, but his family didn't come from nothing. Oh, sorry. He tried saying he came from nothing. His family didn't come from money, but his older brother was already successful from the Disney platform. No, I think Logan Paul grew up very middle class. I mean, his mother was a nurse, and his father, I don't know what his father did for a living. I know his father had a heart attack, but no, one look at Logan Paul in the neighborhood where his parents live, and you can see, no, this is just a white middle class dude. He wasn't rich. He wasn't as rich certainly as he is now, but the dude is very much white middle class Ohioan, right? Jace says he's teaching people in a different way. There were moments that were acceptable in that video, but no, the fact that he left in jokes, the fact that he didn't make more of a big deal about the fact that he never removed his idiotic hat, the fact that it was more about him and subscribing to him than about the death, that's what made the vlog unacceptable. It was too self-serving and too superficial and not respectful enough towards a person that had, had tragically chosen to take their own life. Callista said, I like the hat. Well, I mean, it's consistent with who Logan is in the rest of his content. He's a big goofball who doesn't take life too seriously, but it's definitely not the right thing to be wearing to a park where people have legitimately committed suicide and that is known for, the souls of dead people who died tragically. So something is wrong with you. You don't have any people on your channel. What's up? What do you mean, Britt? I have people on my main channel. This is my vlogging channel. And this is quite a few people. 52 people watching me is actually quite a number of people. Typically on this channel, when I go live on this one, not my main channel, I only get about, say, like 15 people maximum. Bonnie says, of course, it's fake. We don't know. Wall Street Tech thinks it's fake. I think Bradley says he thinks it's fake. Aiden thinks it might be fake. These are my regular viewers. That's why I remember their names. And yes, you can do amazing things with prosthetics and dummies now that make them look very lifelike. And they're certainly connected to the movie industry, so it's not that much of a stretch. But I had said this before, and I don't know if anybody has substantiated it yet. If it is a true story, surely the Japanese media would have confirmed it with the police. So can someone look up Japan, American vlogger Logan Paul finds dead body in forest? Someone's going to substantiate it or call it a hoax pretty soon. So Shado says, it probably wasn't a dummy, just a person they asked to help them film. No. You can't hang, guys. You can't hang from a tree and not die. You would have to have a harness around your body. So no, it was either a dummy or it was a real person. And Callista says, yeah, it's a little stupid, which is what I'm thinking you're meaning, that he went to a suicide forest and then got surprised when he found a body. Yeah, well, like I said before, he's detached from reality. He's led a sheltered life. He grew up middle class in Ohio. And in his mind right now, because he lives his life day to day, vlogging every day as a fictitious yet real story, kind of a hybrid between fiction and reality, I think he's now in this very surreal kind of frame of mind, which makes him detached from reality. And he also is working so much that he never takes a day off. So he doesn't really have time to think about what he's doing the next day other than knowing that he needs to produce content. I know what that kind of mindset is like because there was a period where I vlogged or produced content every single day, and it is a psychologically unhealthy way to live. It does ruin, you basically donate your life to creation and you stop living and you start existing in this weird content production kind of mindset, and you stop being a normal human being with privacy and routines. So that's not justifying what he did, but it sort of explains why he reacted the way that he did and why he can sometimes be a bit of a douche. Whoever came up with the idea to do that video Big Dummy, well, it's because the suicide forest is very well known, and it's because there is a style of video or a genre on YouTube right now wherein you try to survive zombies or you try to survive ghosts at 3 a.m. So the overnight camping, and he spent time overnight in a giant pumpkin. So I think it was just a continuation of that. And he wants to do the most provocative, grandiose things possible whenever he vlogs. So that means that if you go somewhere, there's a saying in journalism, if it bleeds, it leads, meaning people pay attention to shocking, tragic things. They don't pay attention to neutral, normal things. For instance, if I were to start daily vlogging, you would get bored with my life because it consists of me waking up, having coffee, and checking my email for 2 hours and then filming videos all day, editing, and going to bed. So he though knows that, and he's much more successful, that he must create a large performance out of everything and choose to do unusual things. Choose to dent the universe. Choose to be a maverick, be different, be unusual. So, of course, he's going to pick something that's controversial and semi-tragic, and which could involve back to the if it bleeds, it leads, that could involve bleeding, and go to a suicide forest. because if he just behaved like a normal human being, no one would care, because it wouldn't be something that was notable. But there are ways of doing things that are extraordinary without being a giant fucking douche. I actually once did 100 jobs on this channel. It took me 2 years. I worked for 100 different employers, and I was not an asshole, and yet I still did something epic. And the benefits to that, because it was a blog mostly, the blog did really well. I took the blog down, I made it private. I ended up in the media, I got a radio show out of it, and I inspired a lot of people to use social media to find employment. And this was very early in social media. I did that project between 2009 and 2011. So Logan could do the same thing. Like I had said this earlier in the broadcast, he could start choosing to change people's lives once a week or twice a week, as opposed to like, oh my God, guys, I jumped in a giant fucking ball pit. Yeah, it's cool that you ordered 1 million balls off of eBay and you made a joke that you're balls deep in balls, bro. But how about instead spending that money on maybe helping a single mother for a day? Or I don't know, he did visit some children whose final Make-A-Wish or final wish from the Make-A-Wish Foundation was to meet him. But I don't think that's enough. I think he should be, in so much as he's a maverick, he should maybe actively pursue being more of a force of good, consciously. I mean, I also have thought that maybe I should even do more of that. I have done a few things that are positive, that are charitable on this channel. I repainted a children's playground with my own money, and kids ended up playing there. If you look up Snakes and Ladders on this channel, you'll find it. The video, it did okay. It has a couple thousand views. But think of what Logan Paul could do. Like, look at what Casey Neistat just did as an example, right? He remade a mall into a winter wonderland for underprivileged kids. Mind you, some people have argued that what Casey Neistat did was kind of an empty gesture because it was so temporary, and like, okay, you give kids a nice day, but that doesn't change their lives. I agree, but I mean, everybody benefits from having a good day, right? And I think that Logan can do more of that. Who is Logan Paul? Well, please, I believe I've enabled playback on this video, so you can rewind and you could just do a little Google search and figure out who he is. He's an American vlogger who is 22 years old, born on April the 1st, who has seen nothing but success in his career in online entertainment. Though, that said, apparently he had a channel on YouTube for 10 years before Vine took off. So he actually was a failed YouTuber. He was trying to be like Smosh when he was a kid, and nobody gave a shit about his channel. And then it was only once he decided to do things in a more unusual, epic, formulaic way on Vine, and to take it really seriously and devote, every waking hour to it, that he really had a breakthrough. And of course, his fandom followed him from Vine to YouTube, and then he decided to start daily vlogging, and he's been doing it for over 460 or 470 days. And I know all of this because I tried to become Logan Paul for a week in a very failed project on this channel. And as a result of that project, because I was trying to understand why he was so fucking famous, because I didn't immediately like him, I actually started enjoying his content, and I enjoy anyone who's been able to forge a career in entertainment online, because it's very competitive and it's hard to stand out, and he's managed to do that at a very young age consciously, and he's made a lot of smart choices, and he's talented and he's good looking, etc. But that said, as we all see right now, we are now seeing the negative sides of him, which are that he's narcissistic, he's immature, he's self-serving, he needs to grow up, he needs to be more respectful, he's not using his power for good enough, he should be more conscious of his audience, and it shouldn't just be all about Logan Paul and Logan Paul's merch. It has to also be about other people. He needs to broaden what he gives to the world. So John says, classic case of the psychologist starts loving his patient. That's what happened to me. Well, yeah, no, and it's funny. I mean, I think that we are attracted to the things that we're attracted to for a reason. Like, we might not realize why we're paying attention to them, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I actually enjoy his content, and I find him, I find him interesting. Do I still like him? I am old enough to realize that people are all ratios of good qualities and bad qualities. Everybody makes mistakes. There are some people, okay, the minority, say there's like 1 to 2% of people are fucking pieces of shit assholes who deserve nothing. There are people that are truly evil, nasty, fucked up, terrible human beings. One of them happens to be the president of the United States. Sorry, let me get back to what I was saying. So there's like the 1 to 2% of the human population that are the murderers, that are the exploiters, that are the rapists, that are the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, that deserve no respect and nothing. But the rest of us, we're flawed. He's a kid. He's not a kid, but he's a young man who led a sheltered life, who's had extraordinary success. He needs to apologize. He did. He needs to apologize more. He needs to do more good with his fame. But do I hate him for this? No. Even though because he didn't say, oh guys, this is a really funny fucking joke. It's a fucking joke that I found a dead guy. No, he didn't circle around in the vlog and dismiss it entirely as a joke and an opportunity simply to, gain more followers. But he was insensitive. He was arrogant. He acted stupid. He didn't take off his stupid hat. And his apology so far has been, inadequate. Maybe he needs to make a large donation to the suicide prevention hotline. I don't know what else he needs to do. I still do admire what he's managed to achieve, and I think that he's going to grow up eventually. So if what it would take for me to hate Logan Paul, it would be for him to dance around a dead body, okay? Or for him to kill someone, or if he were to rape someone, for example, nowhere near like Logan Paul, but Bill Cosby. When I grew up, The Cosby Show was one of the most popular sitcoms on television. We all watched it in the late 80s, early 90s. I loved Bill Cosby's Pudding Pops. I saw some of his stand-up. I thought he was funny. I thought he was a nice man. And then I found out that he raped 60 fucking women because he likes to have sex with unconscious women. Do I like Bill Cosby anymore? No. Do I feel sorry for him? No. Do I think he is the 1 to 2% of the population who is truly fucked in the head? Absolutely. Has Logan Paul joined Cosby level, psychosis or what's the word, sociopathy? No, he's just immature, and he was insensitive and acted like a douche who's detached from reality. Please don't go there with Bill Cosby. I will, because somebody asked me if I still like Logan Paul and if I think Logan Paul's an evil, horrible human being who deserves none of what he's accomplished. No, I think he does deserve his accomplishments, but he needs to do more positive things with his power. He needs to grow up. He needs to think before he produces, and he needs to have YouTube set limits as to what is and is not acceptable content. Who defines what's an adequate apology, says Big Pub. I don't know who defines that. I mean, everyone's going to have a different answer for that, right? I don't claim to be the authority on this subject. I just decided to go live and discuss it because it's the hot topic right now online, because I have vehemently defended Logan Paul in the past online. I'm a fan, I suppose, of his, though I would love for him to consider me more of an equal or a contemporary as opposed to a fan. And I don't know. This is discussion worthy. It's worthy to talk about, where vloggers should draw the line. And it's worthy to talk about the effects of a massive amount of success on a young person. And I think there's a lot of young people here who want to have this discussion. We all want to think about this. We all want to talk about it, And we want to raise awareness of the fact that he made a mistake, and hopefully that means that other people won't repeat the same mistake. Mimi Diggs made a dark humor joke. I'm not going to read that. So why doesn't he take a year off to show he's truly sorry and doesn't need to earn $1 this year? Well, no, that's unreasonable. That's excessive. I just think maybe he should make a donation. He should donate all the sales of his merch, although that seems kind of twisted. I think, no. He should take his own money, his own profits, and donate a portion to suicide awareness and prevention. And maybe he should man a suicide hotline for a day and be exposed to people who are truly psychologically suffering. And then that will make him reconsider making light of someone that decided to take their own life. You feel me? Kevin, if you want to find the video, go to my Twitter, twitter.com/DavisonVideo. I posted a link there. I responded to Rob Dyke, or rather Rob Dyke posted a link. The Rob Dyke who does horror videos on YouTube. So just go to war better than suicide. Oh man, I don't want to go there. So Siri says, look, Logan Paul documents his life. People act like babies. It's kind of fucked up. Yeah, but it's just a body. No, honey, Siri. Have you ever lost anyone close to you, Siri Gaming? Because you're reacting like you've never lost someone close to you. Because I guarantee you, once you lose your father or your mother or your grandparent, you will no longer see a dead body as just a body. That's someone's brother. That's maybe someone's father. That's maybe someone's cousin. That's maybe someone's best friend or boyfriend. So no, it was a human being that made a terrible choice in the heat of the moment instead of choosing a way to learn how to cope with reality and let illness take that person, not instead of, unfortunately, sadness. You must be Siri because you don't have a conscious... What? What are you talking about, Calista? Are you talking to somebody else in the chat? I'm not Siri. And I do have a conscience. Okay, sorry. You guys are talking to the person that says it's just a body. So Siri, why yeah. I think I would be repeating myself to, state what I just stated, but especially if it's a stranger, you don't have the right to decide how to treat a body when it's a stranger. Do you know what I'm saying? Fine, laugh off the death of your mother if you must, though I think that's really fucking weird. But if it's a stranger, we should all be respectful. Kneel, take off our hats, remain silent. Call 911 for Christ's sake before you do any of these things, because there is a chance the person might still be fucking breathing. I do agree that he shouldn't have shown the video, but he's a good YouTuber, says Javi. I think he should have made the video, but I think that the video should have been different. I think it should have been edited differently. I think the content of it should have been different. I think there are ways that he could have handled what happened without behaving in a way that was immature, douchey, disrespectful, and glib. Okay, I'm glad you agree with me, Siri. I'm just scrolling up. Lewis says, everyone would have been pissed if he didn't upload that part of the video. It's one of the things that you don't want to see but do at the same time. Well, back to if it bleeds, it leads. Yes, we all have morbid curiosity. That's what you're describing. And most of us have been sheltered from dead bodies, right? So I was curious about the video partially because I usually watch him, and it's weird that I didn't because I've been busy the last couple of days since New Year's, and trying to work on my own content on my main channel and my Instagram. So I just didn't take the time to watch his video before it got taken down. But yeah, I was curious to watch it to understand why there was a big uproar about it. And also because I have defended him in the past, saying that other YouTubers are just jealous of his success, his unusual success. And that's why they're so hard on him. And they also, they're being disingenuous because a lot of what Logan Paul does is very much an act. It's very calculated. And he knows when he's being provocative. He knows when he's being a goofball. So don't take him so seriously and don't roast him for his shitty quality when it's what's, fueling his success. And he's doing it intentionally. But that said, in this case, once I watched the video, I was like, yeah, he deserves the heat. He's got to apologize. And YouTube maybe needs to give him some form of a consequence. And he needs to do better things with his fame. And maybe I doubt he'll watch any of these reply videos, but if he does, Logan, if you want to make amends for this, donate some money to a suicide prevention hotline, maybe man the phones, talk to some seriously depressed people so you understand what it means to be depressed, and start doing more good with your vlog. Instead of just doing like running around slapping people with a fish in Tokyo like you did the other vlog, which I thought was stupid, or leaving a fish on a taxi, why don't you help, teach a little kid how to read? Wouldn't that be sweet if you taught a kid how to read for a week? Or what else could you do? You could teach kids how to do the splits. Like, do things like that and people would watch it just as much, I think. I mean, there's never going to be anything as shocking as death or sex, right? I mean, the big poignant things that all of us human beings experience or don't experience, or experience in different ways that, often have a lot of cultural baggage or religious baggage associated with them. But I think, he can be epic and silly 20% of the time, but then 80% of the time, maybe he needs to be doing more productive, positive things that benefit society with his platform and with his influence. He just informed to Yakuza about Logan. I don't know what that means, Hemanth. So Koiser says, I lost my uncle to suicide, and if anyone would use him for views, I would wish death upon them. Some of the people who say it's nothing need to put themselves in the family's situation. Yeah, I agree with you. People need to adopt the experience or be aware of the experiences of others. They need to look at reality outside the filter of themselves. You know what I mean? And they don't. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't behave objectively, and a lot of people don't behave compassionately. I think, I don't think Logan Paul didn't outright laugh at the dead body. Logan Paul didn't poke the dead body. Logan Paul didn't throw things at the dead body. He didn't desecrate it. Let's not pretend that he did something like that. He just reacted like a douchebag and minimized the seriousness of the situation. Didn't scream. His first reaction was not to scream, to call 911, to send emergency services. He never took off his hat. Yeah, he just didn't react adequately or appropriately, and then he chose to release the edited version of the vlog that he did. And even at the beginning of the video too, you see the glee, the excitement in his eyes when he's like, buckle the fuck up, this is gonna be a crazy ride. Dude, you could see the fact that he's like, yes, I'm gonna get my 20 million views, as opposed to, holy shit, this is something serious and important that happened, and I need to control myself a little bit, right? I need to rein it in, and he didn't rein it in, unfortunately. So how might, says Hemant, how might the family of that kid feel? Now everyone knows who he is, and that's disgusting in Japanese society. Oh yes, that's right. It's very dishonorable. Or is it honorable to take your own life? Because isn't there seppuku? Seppuku, isn't that when you choose to commit suicide as a samurai warrior to defend the honor of your family? But I imagine seppuku is not via hanging, right? And so William says, so who says this wasn't staged and scripted? It could be. I've said that earlier in the broadcast, it's possible, but he's claiming it is real. And the media will eventually substantiate his claims or refute them. Remember, right now, the majority of American media is on vacation. So this will only be talked about in entertainment, on entertainment news shows, probably next week. So we will find out in the next couple of days whether or not this is real. So seppuku is with the samurai sword. Yeah, that's what I had just said. It is the slow katana through your stomach. That's right. You disembowel yourself, which is a terrible way to die. I can't even imagine. I can't. I mean, I've felt despair in my life, but I have never wanted to take my life. I mean, I've gone through some pretty rough stuff. There was a point in my life where I was living in a foreign province with a young child who was under the age of 2, with no friends and no family. And it was the middle of winter. I was in a job that was, very challenging because I was on my feet like 11 hours a day, and then I'd come home and have to take care of my kid. I lived in a small 1-bedroom apartment, and I then had financial problems, and that was a pretty low point. And I had said that the only thing that saved me, actually, I did have one relative here who, unfortunately, she's passed away, my step grandmother, so my grandfather's second wife. She invited me over, and that's sort of what saved me from feeling like my life was worthless. You would think that my kid would have been enough, but I was, I felt really isolated, and I felt powerless, and I was physically suffering from the job I was doing. So, I think that has just turned me into a more, getting through that, a more resilient and compassionate person. And I understand how people can falsely think their life can never get better, but they just have to be patient, right? But back to, understanding the psychology of somebody who decides to take their own life. Yeah, fortunately, most of us will never get to that point. So we need to be really respectful when somebody does get to that point and then follows through with it. So news, it just hit E! Online, New York Daily News, New York Magazine. Okay, so did they substantiate it, Rothbot? So Gray Fern says, why do people defend any of the Paul brothers for what they do? Well, okay, well, there are some people that will defend Logan Paul because they don't take death seriously. There are some people who don't respect other human beings. They only care about themselves or the people that they care about. So they will minimize this, insensitive vlog. There are people who are too young, right, to be able to be conscious of the flaws of the vlog itself. They'll just think it was no big deal. He went to a forest. He reacted kind of, they themselves may be too immature to see how the way that Logan Paul behaved was immature. Sorry, let me just continue just a second. So I don't defend Logan Paul for this vlog at all because I see its flaws, and I'm mature enough to analyze it as something that should have been handled differently. But do I think that Logan Paul deserves to lose everything? No. Do I think that he's as evil as, say, Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein? No. Do I think he needs to apologize? Yes. So I don't, that question doesn't make any sense about Logan Paul supporting Zionists. That seems like that's out of left field. I don't understand what that question is. I'm not answering it. Let me just do something, guys. I just have to do something. I'm just putting Canelo in a timeout because he's going a little crazy. So let's read Logan Paul's apology, guys. I'm just going to go over to my computer right there, and I'm going to read to you his apology, and you guys can tell me what you think about it. And I'll look up whether or not the death was substantiated. Why is this? Sorry, guys. My internet's a little slow. Come on. I hate when your computer goes to sleep and then it doesn't immediately reconnect when you try to start it. There we go. So Logan Paul's apology, everyone. Let me just bring this a little closer. Sorry if this is a bit of a mess here. Okay, so he said, I guess I should bring you guys, let's just bring you guys over here for a second so you can see my face while I do this. Okay, so Logan said, "Dear Internet, Where do I begin? Let's start with this. I'm sorry. This is a first for me. I've never faced criticism like this before because I've never made a mistake like this before. I'm surrounded by good people and I believe I make good decisions, but I'm still a human being. I can be wrong. I didn't do it for views. I get views. I did it because I thought it would make a positive ripple on the internet, not cause a monsoon of negativity. That's never the intention. I intended to raise awareness for suicide and suicide prevention, and while I thought if this video saves just one life, it'll be worth it, I was misguided by shock and awe as portrayed in the video. I still am. Let's just read the second part. I do this shit every day. No, Logan, you should have left the profanity perhaps out of your apology, but what do I know? I've made a 15-minute TV show every single day for the past 460 plus days. Maybe now is also not the time to brag about your credentials and your accomplishments, Logan. But I suppose he said this because then he says, one may understand that it's easy to get caught up in the moment without fully weighing the ramifications. Like I said before, I think Logan Paul right now is detached from reality because he is living his life as a vlog and his life is part fictionalized, part reality, and he is unusually successful relatively quickly, or was unusually successful relatively quickly. So I think he's detached from reality, and I think that's what he's trying to get at here as well. I'm often reminded of how big a reach I truly have, says Logan, and with great power comes great responsibility. For the first time in my life, I'm regretful to say I handled that power incorrectly. It won't happen again. I love everyone. I believe in people. I'm out of here. Peace. Logang for life. So some people are criticizing his apology for containing a hashtag. Yeah, you know, his apology is still branded with Logang for life. I suppose that means he's addressing his fans. But like I said before, if I could write his next video where he makes an apology, I would make him break Logan Paul character and not talk about his merch shop, not talk about his fandom, just talk about the suicide and how he handled it incorrectly. Not be self-serving, not be self-referential, and be a little reverential instead. So I'm just looking up whether or not the death was substantiated. One moment, please. Logan Paul, suicide, forest, police, Japanese police. So TMZ just got to it. So let's see what TMZ has to say. They're usually accurate despite being TMZ. TMZ doesn't seem like TMZ substantiated it. They just reported on it. They said that he found a dead body in the suicide forest. So Heavy also just reported on it but didn't try to substantiate it. Okay. Let me just look up substantiated. So Logan Paul, suicide, forest, suicide, substantiated. Sorry guys, just a second. Suicide, police confirm suicide. That's what I'm looking at now. I'm doing the work of a journalist right now. Police confirm suicide. So funny. The press is also rushing at the story so quickly that they're not doing their research as to whether or not this is real or it's a stunt. Sometimes I think the press also doesn't care, right? Because they only care about talking about what's trending, getting those clicks, getting that ad revenue, as opposed to doing proper research, doing their due diligence. Talking about they're talking about the Twitter reaction and the backlash. They're talking about Logan Paul taking down the video, his apology. Why aren't they talking about whether or not the story's been substantiated? They're like, the video appears to contain a dead body, not contains a dead body. Very weird. One more. I'm going to check one more source, guys, to try to substantiate this. Okay, let me just Logan Paul. Metro. No. Metro has contacted Logan Paul for further comment instead of substantiating the story. So guys, YouTuber Logan Paul posts sickening video of body hanging in forest to 15 million subscribers. Okay, guys, so nobody has done the research to substantiate it that I can tell. They're just reporting on what the internet has been reacting to, which is very disappointing. Because I would love to see some substantiation of this suicide. I think it makes sense. I think it's the right thing to do, but the news cycle, this is the time we live in. If you wait on a story, if you sit on a story, then you don't get the clicks and your website is downranked. So I think that the journalists, you know, they're also, a lot of them are on vacation, but of course they run their news, they run their newsrooms 24 hours a day, most of them, but they just do the minimal amount of reporting, which is just rehashing other sources that have already reported on the same thing, right? I mean, I've been in the news multiple times for a lot of the videos I've done, not on this channel. This is actually my vlogging channel. This is not my main channel. And they've said totally inaccurate things about me. They've left out, you know, all the other things I've done. They haven't told the story right. So that's what I think, you know, it's just a game of like telephone. And the faster you jump on a lead for a story, the more you're rewarded. So that's sad that means that there's like a quality sort of suffers, or we only get the full story several days later as a little update attached to an article that people probably aren't even reading anymore. So Justin says, how easy is it to validate a story from another country? Well, you would think that this would be headlines in Japan. I don't know. But maybe Logan Paul means nothing in Japan, but I doubt that. Or maybe there's like an embargo against reporting on suicide in Japan. I'm not familiar with the media customs there. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna do this. I've been going now for like 2 hours, so I am getting a little fatigued. I can read Japanese. I'll take a look and come back. Thank you, Mele. We will wait for you. I'm gonna read some of your comments. Sorry guys, I'm fading a little bit because I've been talking about this for 2 hours. I may wrap this up soon, but I'm going to wait on my Jude's in here. Just, yeah. Okay. So Mele's just checking up to see whether or not the suicide itself has been substantiated or verified by Japanese media. You're better than this, says Britt. Well, no, I'm not better than this. Why am I better than talking about a story that's important? I think it's good that we're all coming together to discuss this, to talk about what's unacceptable. Solomon, the video, if you look on my Twitter, Davison video, the Rob Dyke tweeted a link to it. I don't know if the video is still up. I could go back to my computer and tweet it out again. Good night, Wall Street. Thank you for coming. There's Wall Street's on the wall. By the way, if you guys are wondering what's behind me, this is my fan wall. My main channel is Davison Video 1. So people, whenever I go live on that channel, people sometimes pay me to paint their logos and their names on my wall. So that's what this is behind me, in case you're wondering. So I think it's, so Dragon Girl says, I think it's ignorant to assume he's insensitive because of his response to a situation, as people react differently. No, I think it's pretty fair to call out when someone's behaving in a way that's insensitive. If you're wearing a ridiculous hat and you discover someone who's bleeding to death, you probably should take off your ridiculous hat if you know that you're making a video. Or you turn off the cameras and you try to help the person that's bleeding to death or is hanging from a tree, perhaps, instead of continuing to film because you're a vlogger. And you know that you're just about to create, one of the most newsworthy videos of your career. He knew what he was doing. He was fully conscious the entire time, but he is immature. I said this previously. And he shouldn't have cracked jokes. He made a few dark jokes, dark humor jokes. Some people say that's how they cope with tragedy, too soon, right? Some people think it's never too soon to crack a joke because it helps people cope with negative situations. I happen to think that if you discover a suicide victim, I think that it's morally reprehensible to make light of the situation, and that you should turn it into a teaching moment in a really obvious way instead of leaving it to the end of the video after you've already plugged your channel and told people to subscribe to it. So it's not about being insensitive. It's also about being disrespectful. Well, it's about both, I'd say, Isaac. So Skylar says, okay, to the people saying it's fake, the police seem to actually show up unless he can fake police now too. Well, you can fake anything if you hire enough actors. So Mathieu says, moral is extremely relative and depends on how you're raised. No, I don't think, some things are, you can apply moral relativism to certain things, but no, I don't think everything is subjective in life. I think there is such a thing. My personal belief is that there are clearly things that are social that we can do, and there are things that are antisocial. There are things that are kind, and there are things that are villainous. Even all biblical texts, which are biased in their own way, generally speaking, they have identified things that we can all pretty much agree upon being reprehensible. That being, murdering, cheating, stealing, lying, raping, etc. So his reaction, I think we can agree too, that when you encounter someone that is dead, your first reaction should be to see if you can help them and to become serious, as opposed to, especially if you know that you're recording it, cracking jokes, wearing a silly hat, and turning it into an opportunity to drive more views to your channel. He claims he was raising awareness about the reality of suicide. He claims that he spread awareness about the suicide hotline numbers that he quoted. But I feel that that is just a cover up for what he knew was a very compelling story that would net him a lot more exposure globally than usual. So that's why he offered a disclaimer at the beginning of the video that it was going to be disturbing. But then you see the joy and glee in his eyes when he's like, but buckle in because this is going to be a wild ride. And no, someone committing suicide isn't a wild ride. It's not just a story. It's not fiction. It's reality. It's someone's brother. It's someone's friend. And it's a tragedy. And you should behave like it's a tragedy, in my opinion. So Melly says, Japanese says it's real. Japanese media. Thank you, Melly, for substantiating. Here's a round of applause for Melly. Thank you for substantiating the story. So for the people saying that it's fake, the Japanese media is saying that it's real. And thank you again, Melly, 1125, for doing that research. I appreciate it. He shouldn't have posted it to YouTube, says Dylan. I think he should have posted a video about what happened, but it should have been a different video. He should have made different editing choices. He should have changed the tone of the video itself, and he should have been more respectful than he was. And he should maybe have raised money for suicide awareness, like done an additional good deed on top of what, he didn't do any of that. He just slapped a few screens on at the beginning of the video and the end of the video about where you can call if you're contemplating suicide. And the rest of the video consisted of him just telling the story for the sake of perpetuating and continuing his vlog, which the end goal of that is that he's building, a merchandise empire. And, he's not just going to sell merch online, he's going to sell it in stores. And he also wants to be the most popular entertainer on the planet. And now the whole planet is discussing this misstep, which he's already apologized for, but he's clearly still benefiting from. I need one applause. Come on. Okay. I think it's real, but not all of it, said Smashy. Well, yeah, Smashy, you bring up a good point. I believe that Logan Paul's vlogs are a fusion between fiction, and he even in his vlogs sometimes, like, he engages in fake battles with his roommates, like he play fights. So his vlog is a fusion of very intentional scripted choices that I'm sure they all brainstorm about once a week, and if not once a week, every single day. They all rally at the end of the shooting day and they go, hey guys, what are we doing tomorrow? What's on the agenda? It is very, it's loose, I think, his vlog, but it's also very planned simultaneously. So yeah, it's a hybrid, but yet he's still doing these things, right? He's still going to Japan. He's still partying. He's still eating cake that looks like a chihuahua. But the moment anything is edited, it's no longer reality. Right now, me live streaming this, talking to you guys, this is probably as real as you're going to get. I am deliberately choosing my words very carefully. I'm choosing to present the information in a specific way, but this isn't edited, so I can't omit what I said. I can't make myself seem more eloquent and just pick the highlights of this 2-hour broadcast, right? Whereas Logan instead of Logan, he made the joke that he was going to change his name to Vlogan, by the way. Logan Vlogan. But yes, Logan edits his content so he can pick the highlights and pick the most compelling portions of the story and omit, the missteps. And that's what makes this whole Suicide Forest video especially reprehensible, because he could have chosen to retell the story a different way. But yes, don't think that everything Logan Paul does is reality, because it's edited, it's planned, and he executes on it to maximize his exposure, maximize his popularity, and to, basically please his fandom every single goddamn day. What do you mean? What means nothing? Sorry, or unless you're talking to someone else. I think this stream is very, I would say that you shouldn't use that word. You shouldn't call anything gay. That's not kind to gay people. And no, this stream is not gay. I've been doing this for 2 hours and I'm still somehow managing to lead the room. So William says, how do you feel about YouTube getting rid of PewDiePie forever and only giving Logan Paul a slap on the wrist? Well, we don't know what YouTube, guys, is about to do, because YouTube, I know this for a fact because I know people that work there. Most of the YouTube corporate staff are on vacation right now and will not return to work until the middle or the end of the week. So I think there will be an internal discussion about his video, and I think he may very well get a strike, or Logan might be removed from Google's preferred ads program. Do I know that for certain? No. Nobody's told me that's what's going to happen. So don't assume that PewDiePie was punished and Logan Paul won't be. YouTube's on vacation right now. So we'll see what happens after, they get back from vacation. And we will only know he's been punished if he discloses it or they do. If nobody discloses that he's been removed from their preferred ads program, then we won't know if there was an actual consequence to his vlog. Yeah. So do I think, I said this earlier in the broadcast, William, yes, I think he deserves to I don't know if he deserves to stop being a part of the preferred ads program. But I do think he perhaps deserves a strike on his account for like 3 months. So he can't live broadcast for 3 months. So he sees that he can't just wantonly upload videos of cadavers and it's okay because he's Logan Paul and he's a bad boy, that, he's the exception to the rule. No, I mean, the same rules should apply to everyone. If what he did is a violation of YouTube's community guidelines, he should receive a strike. And he'll he'll learn after he suffers his consequences. I'm just going through. So Koiser says, I'm pretty sure we're not talking about me. We're talking about Logan. Okay, guys, I think that even though I've really enjoyed hanging out with you guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up soon because I've been broadcasting now for over 2 hours. I feel that I'm becoming slightly repetitive at this point. I'm glad that somebody did the research. I'm going to bring up her name again. She speaks Japanese. Just a minute. I'm just scrolling. Sorry, guys. Oh, where is she? She's right here. Mele. So thank you to Mele for substantiating the suicide. So it did happen. It wasn't faked. The Japanese media is reporting it as fact. So if you came here to figure out whether or not Logan Paul faked a suicide in the suicide forest, it was very much real. Did Logan Paul behave inappropriately? I think yes. I don't think it's subjective. Some people might say that that's subjective, that it's morally relative, that death isn't a big deal and we shouldn't, tiptoe around it or feign, caring about someone that we're not in any way, related to. But I think that we should always be respectful towards other human beings. I think the compassionate way is the right way. There's no harm in an excess of kindness, which Logan didn't show. And I think Logan needs to do more positive things with his platform. So can we get a therapist in the comments, please? I'm trying to be as much of a therapist as I can be. So guys, is there an uncensored version? Chuan, no, they blurred the face, so you will never see the face of the cadaver if that's what you're looking for. You're welcome for sharing, Pal Pal. Happy birthday to Bianca, although it seems like the wrong moment to say that. So Nellie Nell said there's a certain limit to respecting another human in their death and teaching future generations about death. Well, there's no limit to respect. I mean, there's a limit to how much we all know this as human beings, can feel for people that we're not in a relationship with, meaning like they're not our friend, or does not just romantic, but like our friend or our brother or our parent or our family or whatever. Will I sob about the guy that, chose to commit suicide in the forest? No. But do I think it's sad? Yes. Do I feel sad for his family? Yes. So yes, we all have like emotional limits as to how intensely we will feel a loss or someone else's suffering, but we can still choose to behave respectfully about it. And that's what I believe Logan Paul, in my opinion, failed to do. So Walter says, happy 2018 to everyone, and let us hope the rest of the year will be better. Of course, I believe that it will. So yes, Evelyn says, thank you for making that point, Evelyn. If anybody is ever contemplating suicide, please call the suicide prevention hotline. I believe in the States it's 1-800-273-TALK, or call 911. Go to the hospital, tell them you're contemplating suicide, call your best friends, talk to people. Anyone, I guarantee almost everyone here has someone they could reach out to. And even if it seems weird and they're someone you don't talk to very often, if you are having suicidal thoughts, reach out, don't turn within. And there's always hope. Tomorrow can get better. Sometimes there are periods of darkness in one's life, but know that it's not the final moment. You just have to stay strong or ask for help, So our Digi says, thank you so much for sharing this and speaking about this. I was looking for something like this and I understand a lot more about the incident. No problem. So guys, so Big Bub says, I think people should be respectful but not forced to be respectful. Well, there should be social pressure to be respectful. Otherwise, we behave like barbarians. I think we need to pressure each other to behave in ways that are not just self-serving and are civilized. That's why you raise children. You raise them to leave their toddler years where they just think about themselves, and you need to raise them to consider the needs, wants, and feelings of other human beings. So what about making you lose brain cells? Oh, about the comment section. Well, the comment section is a mixture of comments because we have a variety of people here. There's a lot more people on this stream than I'm accustomed to. Typically on this channel, I only have like 15 people watching, so this is unusual for sure. So I actually probably should have informed myself more about the suicide forest prior to this broadcast, but because I had just watched his video, and I felt like I had, things that I could say about it, and I feel that I'm fairly educated on Logan Paul himself because I've watched so many of his videos and done my research. I've even watched videos where he's been interviewed, so I have a different perspective on him than that of just a fan. And plus, I'm a professional YouTuber myself. Even though this channel is small, I want to remind everyone, because a lot of you are new here, this is not my main channel. This is my secondary channel. My main channel has like 57,000 subscribers or something like that, and 25 million views. So I've been doing this for a living for like 10 years. So I think I have a good perspective and handle on what it means to be a YouTuber and the responsibilities of being a YouTuber. I've certainly made choices on my main channel that some people may object to morally, because I am comedic and I'm sexy. And a lot of people think that sexiness should be something that's private. A lot of people think that the moment a woman is sexy, she's objectifying herself. I disagree with that. I think it's only objectification if it's imposed on you. I think it's empowering if you consensually decide to share your sexiness or sexual presence with other people. But that's a separate issue to what's going on here. I'm just saying that I feel that I'm in a position of an informed position to reflect on this story. So I jumped to it. But yeah, I need to do more research about the suicide forest after this wraps, because it never hurts anyone to learn about other cultures or other places or geographically other areas, and I mean, there surely is a very sad story attached to the suicide forest, and I'm just not familiar with it. I'm ignorant, so I have to change that by doing my research. So Nellie says, I think what you're doing on your main channel is very cool and empowering. Thank you, Nellie. I appreciate that. I try. Everyone thinks being sexy makes you get noticed, but it doesn't, to be honest, says Evelyn. It does and it doesn't. It depends on what. Now we're digressing. So I think we're digressing a bit from the Logan Paul discussion. Again, this is no disrespect to the very serious topic that we just covered. Okay. Sexiness as a woman who is attractive, using your sexual power to your advantage, or as an entertainment product, or as an artistic tool. I mean, it has so many effects. It will make some people disrespect you more. It will make some people only assume that you are about your body and that you lacked an intellect. It will deny you some opportunities if you choose to be sexy as a woman, right? Some brands won't want to work with you. Some employers won't want to hire you. Some people will dismiss you as taking the easy way out and being cheap. But I don't believe that's true, because it just, I don't think that sexuality needs to be solely private. I don't think that you need to hide your body as a woman. I think that it's more empowering to do whatever you want with your body. So if you want to wear a hijab, I think you should wear a hijab. But don't tell me that I then have to wear a hijab, right? I think sexiness is just as powerful a choice and occupying your sexual body as say, making a religious choice. Anyhow, that is a digression. So sexiness, all that to say, it can get you certain things and gain you certain advantages if you use it artistically, or you even just use it as a tool to gain resources or influence. But yeah, it definitely has also its drawbacks and its perils. And I've experienced both by now. Can you please forgive me for saying this stream is gay, says Nitin. Yes, I forgive you. Thank you for realizing what you said was wrong. So Nidin says, by the way, are you a Logan or Jake Pauler? I'm asking you. Okay, and I'll answer you, Evelyn, in a second. So I guess I guess I am a viewer of Logan. I'm not going to say I'm part of the Logang, but I started to watch him because I did a project where I tried to be him for a week because I didn't understand why he was becoming so popular. And as a result of watching him, I began to appreciate him. Plus, there's very few male YouTubers that I want to watch all the time, and for whatever stupid reason, I want to watch him. But I think that he has flaws, and we are discussing his flaws tonight. So Kingship, is the Logan Paul thing real? Yes, CMC Gaming. The suicide is real. There is somebody, Melee, who substantiated the suicide via Japanese news media reports from official news outlets, and they verified with the police that yes, they truly did find a real dead body, and yes, the body that you see on film is a real dead body. I'm not Trill, that's useless what you just said. So Kingship said, so sexiness is the same as using your money or power or money in your own logic. Well, yes, sexual power is a form of power. That's why so many religions and people seek to limit the use of that power. And yes, sex can be damaging, but all forms of power can be damaging and used to manipulate. Money can be used to manipulate and be damaging, but money is also a very positive thing. So yes, but I think also sexuality can be a very positive power, and that whenever, say, I take a sexy photo of myself, it gives someone else pleasure, right? Is that negative? No. I'm doing it consensually. They're enjoying it. It makes them happier or gives them a release. Or you can display the body sexually in a way that's very artistic. It makes people pay attention in ways they wouldn't otherwise. So yeah, sex is absolutely power, so you need to use it responsibly. Okay, so by the way, Razu Kandisim, HIV is not that common in Western countries. Outside of sub-Saharan Africa, HIV is relatively, luckily, uncommon. Its rates are dropping because of medication that you can take once you have HIV, which makes you less likely to transmit the virus. As well, now there's medication that is called PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. That's what that stands for. That basically makes you 99% less likely to contract HIV if you're exposed to it. HIV is also not a fatal disease necessarily anymore because of medications. HIV is now a chronic condition. You can expect to live a normal lifespan should you contract HIV, which I will add is very uncommon in Western cultures. It also has been overblown, unfortunately, in the media, which is good because it makes people more conscious. But most of the time, at least where I live in Canada, literally less than 0.1% of the population is infected with HIV in Canada, which is astounding. You would think that it was 10%, by the way media reports have skewed, or the way the education campaigns have skewed. Unfortunately, they aired on the side of fear as opposed to the side of education, but people respond, unfortunately, better to fear than they do to facts or education. So no, sex does not typically lead to HIV, or a hell of a lot more of us would have it. And there are some theories, too, that it's related to syphilis, and it's in ways that they haven't established the link yet, although it is a virus. Syphilis is a bacteria. But they believe there's some sort of like comorbidity between syphilis and HIV. And I know about this because I did research. So anyhow, that has nothing to do with the suicide forest. So Britt, I'm digressing, Britt. Eventually streams digress off the main topic because I talked for 2 hours about Logan Paul. So Nellie Nell says, do you know if Logan Paul was charged with anything? No, I do not. Why would he what would he be charged with? Disrespecting a dead body? Is that illegal in Japan? Or filming a dead body? I have no idea, actually. I should, I should know. Again, prior to this broadcast, all I did was watch the video instead of do research. If you guys have been part of the stream for at least an hour now, I did do research to see whether or not the story was true. A user on the stream, who I don't believe is still here, called Melee, she substantiated that the suicide was real. But yeah, I don't know whether or not Logan Paul has been charged with any crimes yet. We also do not know if YouTube has levied any punishments against him. YouTube corporate is on vacation, so probably we won't find out about whether or not, say, he lost his status in the Google preferred ad program, or he gets a strike if he even chooses to disclose that information at all until later this week. So, didn't they kick him out, says Evelyn? No, he created a clickbait vlog the other day that said he was forced to leave Japan, but I think it was just clickbait. It wasn't reality. So Bonnie Bell says, I think some people should put the social media down, especially if you're a parent. What do you mean by that? My son's, by the way, my son is 17 and his friend is over right now. They're in the other room. They're playing video games and hanging out. So can take care of himself at this point. He's a 6'3", 260-pound young man. No, this isn't a trans Brick Girl. Brick Girl's being very critical. Brick Girl, you might need to be put in a timeout soon because you got to lay off the negativity. I'm covering a story. I'm leading a discussion. Other people want to discuss Logan Paul's decision to release an insensitive vlog. So that is why I am streaming right now. Plus, I find this interesting. Koiser, oh, well, I can't get to all the comments, guys, because there's just so many of them. Brick Girl says, I've never seen... Okay, so Brick Girl, I'm putting you in a timeout because I just can't anymore. I can't with her. Sorry, guys. Brick Girl gets a timeout because she's exhausting. She's obsessed with telling me there's something wrong with me covering a news story. So Natalie says, I don't know what goes through a person's head to do that. You mean film a suicide? Nine God says, Brick Girl's just a hater. Yeah, it seems like that. And Brick Girl might be some sort of a weird troll that I've had for a long time. So who's going under a pseudonym. So let's just disregard this nonsense. Yeah, Koiser, I sort of agree with you. But Canelo, whatever, we're just ignoring him right now. So Kristen says, so what is it about the video you're trying to discuss? Are you trying to get people's thoughts or discuss your own? Both. I do my best to respond to as many commenters during my live streams as possible. I know there's a lot of YouTubers who will go live and they don't interact with their audience whatsoever, and I think that's a loss. So I try to, whenever I go live, to lead interesting, provocative discussions, figure out things for myself too, because oftentimes people in the comments make points that I wouldn't have considered. So I think it's valuable for all of us to share here. So I have been broadcasting already now for 143 minutes. So I've already actually gone over my thoughts about the whole Logan Paul suicide vlog. But for those of you who are just joining me, because apparently there's a lot of you, basically I think Logan Paul should have released a different style of vlog. He didn't need to pretend that what happened didn't happen. But I think in his video, he showed an immature lack of respect towards a very serious situation. And he was very self-serving in that he still asked people to subscribe to his channel. He still, with excitement in his eyes, told people to buckle up before watching it. He turned a suicide into more of a story and fiction instead of the sad reality that it was. Do I think he's evil, Logan Paul, and deserves to lose everything? No. I think Logan Paul is a flawed human being like the rest of us, which he admitted to on his Twitter. But I think that he's not remorseful about choosing to release the vlog because he's benefiting from it. He will get more press from this than anything he's done in the last month. the story has gone worldwide. Worldwide coverage, you can't buy that. And if you do, it's very expensive. So he's getting worldwide coverage for free, which only bolsters his fame more, because fame is pretty much 90% people knowing what your name is. So Logan Paul, it's being repeated. So this is just benefiting him. It has not caused him to suffer, and won't unless YouTube gives him a strike, removes him from the preferred ad program, or, you know, he's charged with a crime in Japan, because some people have said that is a distinct possibility. He illegally was filming in the forest, or he disrespected a dead body, and there's some sort of law in that regard. And I think this could be a moment wherein, if Logan Paul is really serious about being sorry about having uploaded the video that he did, he can begin to mature, and he can maybe choose to do more positive things with his fame. Am I playing the video? Eric says, no, I can't play the video, but if you want to find it, it is on my Twitter. My Twitter is Davison Video. It is in a conversation I had with the Rob Dyke. The Rob Dyke is a YouTuber who does horror videos. So I'm just catching people up on the video if they haven't seen it themselves, or if the video that I watched has already been taken down. And I also like to cover current events on this channel. I am knowledgeable about Logan Paul, about being a YouTuber, and current events. So Nelly says, apparently there is no law, but a bill was passed that families can go to court and sue, but I feel there should be some greater punishment. Kingship says, don't link to it. No, Kingship, I think people should see it, if only to know what you should not do in a vlog if you encounter a dead body. You know, you should be more respectful if you encounter a suicide, and you should not go to places that are called suicide forest or death camp. Like, don't go to Auschwitz and wear a stupid hat and have a party. Like, that's profoundly disrespectful. So probably, and no, not probably, definitively the same thing applies to a suicide forest. Okay, so Melly says, most Japanese news outlets are covering the situation, just chat boards. Oh, really? Eric, I already gave you the too long didn't read. Rating for Logan Paul's content cop by, what's his name, iDubbbz. He was even laughing about it, says Darren. Yeah, he made some jokes that were in poor taste. He engaged in gallows humor, dark humor. He should not have been, you know, made the joke, oh, you never been around a dead body before, bro? Haha. The vlog should have been nothing but a serious coverage of tragic event, and also an educational piece on both the suicide forest and on suicide prevention, and maybe even additionally should have raised money for suicide prevention, awareness, and psychological treatment for those who are contemplating suicide. Oh yes, Evelyn says, who took the video down, YouTuber Logan Paul? Logan Paul. Koiser is right, Logan did, Evelyn. So Evelyn says, do you think Logan Paul will lose subscribers from this video? Let's go check. I can actually check that right now, guys. So, here we go. So I'm going to Social Blade to see if he's lost subscribers. I'm willing to put money on the fact that he has not lost any subscribers. If he has lost subscribers, he's gained as much as he's lost. So, and YouTube, when you sign up for YouTube right now, part of the reason why Logan Paul has grown as fast as he has, this is a little known fact, YouTube pushes certain, I mean, it's obvious that YouTube pushes certain YouTubers over others. Like, I am not someone that they push because I do sexy content on my main channel. So they're less likely to promote my content. But when you sign up, they actually suggest that you subscribe to Logan Paul right now. So that's partially why he's grown so quickly, because YouTube is actually actively endorsing Logan Paul. So let's see if he's lost any subscribers. So Logan Paul. Oh, he has. Hey, I'm surprised. Holy fuck. He gained 50 He gained the same amount of subscribers as on my main channel. Okay, my main channel is Davison Video 1. He gained the same amount of subscribers as the whole of my main channel yesterday. Holy shit. Here, I'll flip the screen. Okay, so look, 57,000 subscribers yesterday. That's crazy. That's insane. But look, he's lost 482 for today. I did lose the bet, Big Bub. Holy shit, that's surprising. Wow. Oh, gained some. So Mike 10 says, hi Mike, I bet it will be positive by the end of the day. That's what I sort of bet. So Jade says, I don't even know why he's famous. Yeah, he was on Disney, but no, not anymore. All he does is cause drama and makes cringy-ass content. I just really dislike him. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Right now, we're just watching his subscriber count go down and go up. Guys, I wish my subscriber count on my main channel would increase by 10,000 in a day. I mean, but hey, whatever. You have to make something that connects with a really large audience in order for that to happen, and you have to get YouTube on your side, right? So Natalie says, I wonder if his I'm sorry video will have ads. Well, apparently he said that he didn't run ads on the Suicide Forest video itself before he took it down. So if he is sincere, I don't think he'll run ads. John, I do not have an opinion about Logan Paul's bedroom skills. I think everyone is skilled in their own way if they make even half of an effort. And it's very subjective. Some people like certain things, other people like other things. Okay, so Jade, we'll get to the famous thing in a second. Michelle, if it's Mitchie. So Mitchie, if you want to see the video, go to my Twitter, because I couldn't link to it here because I've gone live on my phone. But if you go to twitter.com/DavisonVideo and you see my conversation with the Rob Dyke, there's a link to it that was working as of 10 minutes before I went live on this video. I went live though like 152 minutes ago, so it's been a while. I don't know if it's still up. Look at that. Look at his subscriber count decreasing. There are some people that are undoubtedly cheering this on. Wow. I never, well, we're seeing a new moment in his evolution. He's losing. This is the first time he's really losing. This is Social Blade. That's where it's showing his subscriber count live. I'm sure somebody could, oh my God, he's top 2 trending on Twitter. Holy crap. That's crazy. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna flip back to myself just a minute. Oh, sorry guys. I'm just gonna sit back down. Wow. Well, again, biggest publicity of his career. Crazy. When I saw that he made the vlog and I didn't watch it right away, like, I had no idea that there would be this much backlash. I'm surprised. Like, well, I'm not surprised having watched the video, but like, I'm surprised that I shouldn't be surprised that he made a video that was tone deaf and insensitive. Right at the beginning of the year. He's not starting the year on a good note, is he? So Blafubar said, I've not seen this, but what's going on in this world that people use things like this for more fame, such a sad world just for money and fame. And yes, all the best to you in 2018, YouTube, Blah. Yeah, Blah, I said as much at the beginning of this broadcast. I said he's a product of capitalism. And he's a product of American culture, which is work first, productivity first, money, power, and accomplishment first, and people second, unfortunately. That's what capitalism does to people. And because he's always been privileged, privilege also breeds a lack of compassion, because you've never experienced what it's like to suffer and you've never had to behave selflessly. So it makes you more prone to being a bit of an entitled jerk, right? So Kristen says, could you please scroll up and see my question? It's long. Okay, just a minute. So Dexter says, it's really terrible, isn't it? I came here because Joey uploaded this. Joey uploaded the, he uploaded the original video. Okay, so just a minute. So Kristen says, could you scroll up? So God made a good point. Six God, Miggy said, at the end of the day, he's getting more publicity and more views and subscribers. You're absolutely right. You need to go to a dentist and clean your teeth. No, I don't. Why do I need to go to a dentist and clean my teeth? There's nothing wrong with my teeth. I need to brush them though. I need to go to the dentist. What's wrong with my teeth? The lighting is yellow in here. Okay, so Kristen, I gotta scroll up. I'm sorry to show you guys my teeth. I think I'm losing it a little bit because it's been 155 minutes that I've been broadcasting. So Kingship says he believes that Logan's going to lose 5 million subs by Wednesday. Perhaps. We'll see. I don't think that many. Oh, yeah. So Jade, I wanted to talk about his fame. Sorry, Kristen, I can't find your comment, darling. Kristen, you're going to have to retype your comment because it's so far buried beneath the comments that I can't find it, darling. Right under Jade. Kristen, retype your comment, Kristen. Just copy and paste because I can't find it. Do I have any celery? Yes, I have celery. Is this clickbait? No, it's not. I go boom boom. I've been covering this issue for the last 2 hours. I have not seen Joey's video yet. I will watch it. I also haven't seen Jacqueline Glenn, who I know. I haven't seen her video. I haven't watched her video. I saw that she made one. So Nellie Nell says there was a man with him who looked like Japanese military official. Not sure if he was. If he was, why didn't he stop him? Well, yeah, he had a security guard, and the security guard did call the police. That's what the security guard said during the video. Luis says he's unsubscribed from Logan Paul. Hopefully his career is over, says Alex Cole. Evelyn said when Logan Paul started laughing, she instantly went off and unsubscribed because she was done with him. Okay, so, well, if there's trolls, I'm just going to block them. That just solves that problem. So Kristen says suicide. What do you mean, Kristen? Yeah, I will see the good advantage because there's only 55 of you guys watching right now. I can pretty much ban people right away, and I read fairly quickly. Like I'm not an inexperienced streamer. On my main channel, I go live at least twice a week, so I react pretty quickly to things. So Evelyn says, my sister also unsubscribed, we're all done. David said, foolishly, suicide is badass. No, it's not. It's a sad thing to choose. I think the only time at which it makes sense to take your own life is if you have a chronic medical condition that is preferably terminal and you are suffering. Then I think it's fine. You know, I am pro having the ability to choose to end your own life. I'm pro euthanasia if that's the decision that you want to take at the end of your life, or assisted suicide or whatnot. However, anybody who is healthy, anybody who is just depressed should not take their own life. There's always a reason to live, right? You just have to sometimes find that reason or ask for help. And if you don't get help from the first person you ask, keep asking. So Julia says that's the decision I want to take. Just a minute, guys. I have to plug in again. Do I think it's real? Yeah, Samantha, the video has been confirmed as real. somebody called Melly, who's here, she went to the Japanese media, and it has been confirmed as not staged. It is real. My main channel is Davison Video 1. So it's called Davison Video, so Davison Space Video as opposed to Davison Video Vlogs altogether. And yeah, so hello from Brazil. So Z-Dog says, ending your life is never an option, no matter what the situation is. Well, I disagree with you, because if you're suffering and you're going to die anyways, I think it's completely reasonable to choose to end your own suffering. Like I said, provided that your situation is terminal or it's incurable. So Julia says, everyone treats me like glass and trash. Oh, that's sad. Well, what's wrong with you, Julia? So Eric says his biggest mistake was filming the body. Yeah, I think, yes. The fact that it wasn't just from a distance, yes. The fact that he got the gory details, yeah. And just what he did with those details, and pointing out the fact that the guy had objects in his pocket. I feel like I'm going to have a nightmare about it now, unfortunately. Julia, nobody cares about me. That's not true, Julia. I'm sure your parents care about you. Thank you for the compliments on my eyebrows. So Kristen says, there we go. Might be too personal, but have you had any personal experience with suicide? Not the same question, by the way. I just moved on to another. I knew someone in high school who committed suicide. I didn't know them well. I decided to take the day off of school the next day. I went into the guidance counselor's office and I was like, I'm leaving because I'm sad. And they're like, no, you can't. I'm like, watch me. And then I left, and they never reported me to my parents. My friend who was diagnosed later as bipolar, but her situation is very complicated because her parents weren't the best parents towards her. They were pretty mean about certain personal choices that she had made, though she did make some pretty bad choices when it came to drugs. Like, she did a lot of drugs. She tried to commit suicide a couple times. Then she ended up in the psych ward. Now I think she's better, because she went on medication and she got treatment with numerous psychologists and psychiatrists. So, even, if someone attempts suicide, they can recover. Know that recovery is possible. She just required medication and treatment. And sometimes young people with a lack of life experience are more emotionally dramatic, right? Not that I'm blaming them, but when you're immature, you're more likely to make drastic decisions, not thinking about the outcome. So, I think that the risk periods for suicide are teenage years, followed by, it seems unfortunately, a lot of men take their own lives in their 40s, and that's usually correlated with substance abuse and isolation. So part of the cure for suicide is like, unfortunately, like the girl here is saying that she feels worthless and like she has nobody, is people being more supportive and connected towards one another. Isolation kills. So reach out if you see someone, has nobody. Talk to people, be kind to others. So yeah, I knew a friend in high school who committed suicide, and I had a close friend who attempted suicide. But as for like close relatives, no. And I've talked to my son about suicide, because he's a teenager, and he would never commit suicide, and he's not a depressive young man. But I also am very close to him. We live in a fairly, it's a large 2-bedroom apartment, but I think because, he sees me every day and I don't ignore him and I pay attention to him. Not that that's what's required for a child to commit suicide. Sometimes people are just mentally ill and it's an illness, or it's they were born that way. So they're unlucky, right? But I was lucky, and I birthed a healthy boy who lives in a healthy environment that I consciously try to create for him. I mean, some of my choices are unconventional, right? I'm a YouTuber. Here's my fan wall right here. His dad and I separated when he was 2, but he is, he's 17 now. So he has, his dad's still in his life. I don't think parents need to be together to give their child stability. They just need to be stable, meaning like don't move around all the time, make sure there's food, pay for their bus pass, make sure their clothes are clean, clean the bathroom, do your chores, read to your children. I read to him. I breastfed him. That's early in his life though. Certainly don't do that now. But I think, yeah, I mean, he's lucky, he's fortunate. You know, he was born with a healthy disposition, and he's fortunate that, you know, I'm a middle class mother who's able to offer him, you know, a secure life. And you know, a lot of my family is still alive, so he still has his father's mother who sees him all the time. He's family. He has a job. He has friends. He's privileged. So that's a blessing. Just a minute, guys. I'm going to plug in the phone because it's dying again. I unplugged it when I was going to the computer. Okay, guys, just 1 second. I just need to put you guys on hold for a second because I have been talking now for like 200 minutes. So I will be right back. You can look at the fan wall. I have to get myself water. Just give me 4 minutes. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I need to stay hydrated. Hoy. It is a workout, I'm telling you. I don't know if you guys have ever gone live for like 3 hours. It is not for the faint of heart. Oh yes, Sasepa, do you think the body is real? Okay, so, the body. See, I was thinking metaphysical. I was about to get philosophical and metaphysical on you guys. Spiritual. Do I think the body, the suicide victim, do I believe there was an actual suicide victim? Yes, and it's already been substantiated. Do I believe it could have been faked? Absolutely. Absolutely it could have been faked. But it wasn't. So that's all the more reason why his reaction was inappropriate. So Ovi-san says, please answer my previous question. By the way, guys, if you want a comment to surface, if you use the super chat function, I will read it first. So Ovi-san says, he has nightmares about suicide. Whoa. So Brandy, you said something nice. Thank you, Brandy. I'm going to read Brandy's comment first. Julia, you are not what people think of you. I know it's difficult to see yourself as something more when people tell you you're nothing, but you are more. Don't give up. Exactly. Brandy is very right. Brandy, thank you for leaving that very considerate comment. So Ovi, sorry guys. So Lucy says too, like Al says, Julia, if you need to talk, just reach out to one of us. Thank you for all the women here who are being kind and compassionate. Thank you. You girls are wonderful. Kristen says, thank you for answering my questions. No problem, Kristen. It's nice to have you hang out with me. I enjoy doing these type of broadcasts and discussing, news items with people and leading the room. So thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. Okay, so Avi, I don't understand what you're writing, but I'll see if I can understand. You wrote, he has nightmares about suicide and is always depressed, even though he has a family that is always with him, very supportive. He's extremely privileged in that sense, but is depressed and I don't know what to do. Who has that? Okay, just a minute. Let me just, I am not a psychologist. I am just a human being. Let me just put on my jacket because I'm getting cold again. Sorry, guys. I can only provide my own personal opinion, guys, as advice, and take it for what it is. Advice not from a professional. So even if someone has everything, they still have suicidal thoughts. What should you do? Well, you should get them into counseling right away. Do not waste any time. Go to your family doctor or go online and search up therapist and the name of your city or county or whatever, and get that person in to see someone, because if you hold off on them getting, diagnosed or treatment, then, that's precious time that, could make the difference between life or death. Whew. Sorry, it's very cold. It's minus 21 where I am right now. So Mele says big news outlets like Tokyo News aren't covering the story. Why? Is it because Logan Paul isn't relevant there? So Ovi-san said he has depression, but his family's perfect. So yes, please seek medical attention or psychological counseling attention for this person. Your best friend. Okay, so you have to be that person then. Then you have to know that you cannot fix someone. So if he does make the choice to end his life, don't blame yourself. You've done everything you can. Be there, listen to him. But this is a case where the professionals need to step in, I would say. And if you're young, tell his parents, tell the people that are taking care of him, because they might not know, okay? And it's very important that you do that as soon as possible. And they won't think any less of you, but they need to know so that they can step in and he can get the treatment that he needs so he doesn't make a drastic decision. Yes, it's also minus 21 here. Lewis and Canelo. Depression is the new trend for clout, says David. What do you mean? People exploiting their own mental illnesses for the sake of attention and popularity? Yeah, I think we've seen some of that. I think people take whatever unique angle they have if they are a professional YouTuber or vlogger and maximize its potential, right? I'm funny, or can be, not on this channel. Evidently right now I'm not being funny because this is a serious topic, but if you go to my main channel or you go to my Instagram, you will think that I'm a different person because I'm much more lighthearted and sexier and edgier than I am right now. Yeah, if your unique angle is that, you were diagnosed as being bipolar, or if your unique angle, which one should not call this an angle, you know what I'm saying? But I think you dehumanize yourself a little bit if you make the conscious decision to be a YouTuber, in so much as it's a very valid choice to make, in so much as it's valuable to be a YouTuber. I still think that people have a tendency, or can have the tendency, right? You don't have to, some of these things, maybe it's a good idea to keep certain things private. I keep a lot of my personal life private. I don't show the nitty gritty of my life and all the conflicts and all my relationships. I've chosen to divorce that from this because I just don't think it's the place. And if I'm sad someday, I'm probably not going to just make a bunch of videos. If anything, I'm more likely to make a happy video or a video that'll make people laugh when I'm sad. But yeah, definitely people will go, hey, I'm unique, I'm bipolar. Some people will go, make a video talking about it because they truly want to raise awareness and help other people. Whereas I think some other people will be like, let's just exploit this aspect of my personality to its maximum because I know that it'll be a popular keyword on YouTube and I know it'll get me more attention. That's like the maladaptive side, right? The negative side of choosing to be a vlogger, the narcissistic, the dark side. Because we all have these sides, guys. You yourself, you need to look in the mirror and realize that you are a combination of good and evil. And your job as a human being is to choose to manifest more goodness and radiate more positivity and productivity as opposed to darkness and negativity. But it is psychologically unhealthy to not acknowledge that your dark side exists. You need to face your dark side actually in order to start emanating more light. And the older you get, the easier that becomes, provided you haven't led your life in a way that is negative. And what I mean, this is, my opinion from my life experience. Don't start constructing your life in a way that is, enabled or medicated by substance abuse or by food or by exploitative, self-serving relationships with other people. The more you seek balance and choose to live unaided and just in a path of productivity and creativity and service to others, the better you end up and the more evolved I believe you end up as a human being. Like the people I've seen in my age group in their 40s that have fared the worst are the ones that, instead of maturing and making different choices and choosing to inhabit a place of service or creativity, they choose instead to drink more as they get older or eat more because they've given up, stop exercising. I'm sorry. I feel like I've digressed a little bit. I'm going on a bit of a tangent. So Alice says we're starting 2018 with Feels Bad Man. Well, no, I think we're just kind of, back to what I was saying about we all have dark sides. We're just seeing the negative side of Logan Paul far more clearly. We're seeing his limitations. Like everyone sees the success, but now they're going to really see very clearly his shortcomings, and we all have them. So yes, instead of ignoring your dark side and then medicating it with, like I said, vice, food, excess, neglect, face it, acknowledge it, and find ways to resolve it. So Kaylin says, preach it. So Big Bub says it's all related though, so feel free to digress. Yes, I suppose so. Oh, this was a Diet Coke earlier. It is no longer a Diet Coke. What I'm drinking right now is very much non-alcoholic lime spring water because I've been talking now for 180 minutes. I'm not typing like you guys. I wish I could just start typing. I could stick my camera. I won't do that. I could stick my camera on the computer, log into my YouTube account, and just start typing you in the comments. ASMR, Logan Paul suicide forced reaction vlog. Oh, I'm glad I said it right, Kaylin. So Lucas says I'm not typing. You're not? Are you speaking to your phone to leave your comments? Keegan is leaving Fs. Keegan will get banned soon if he keeps leaving Fs, but whatever. I don't know. Keegan, do you want attention, darling? Keegan, are you a child? Are you a toddler? And all you can type is one letter. So Big Bub says, accept your dark side and relish in it. No. Well, I know that's cute. You're joking, Big Bub. I say just acknowledge it, become intimate with your shortcomings, and then do your best to move away from them. Or identify when you are behaving in a way that is manifesting your dark side as opposed to manifesting the positive aspect of you. Oh, Keegan! Bye, Keegan! Bye. Keegan's going bye-bye. Here we go. Troll Onision for free satisfaction. I think, Onision is a great example of somebody that feeds off of negativity. And ironically, just like Logan Paul, Onision is really talented. He is a smart motherfucker, but he's emotionally a little bit stunted, and he's melodramatic, and he's toxic, and he's rude. And instead of using his intelligence and creativity for good, Onision constantly chooses the path to fame that involves causing the most drama. And by voicing his offensive opinions, he spreads more negativity a lot of the time than he does good. Logan Paul at least isn't as overtly interpersonally malignant as Onision. Onision is willfully negative, and that's a problem. Onision thinks he's being for edgy, too edgy for me, when really he's just capitalizing on people wanting to watch videos that, you know, are controversial. He exploits people's desires for an argument. He basically creates content based on his dark side, as opposed to more comedy videos or more intelligent educational videos. Actually, this is making me think, like, as a YouTuber, you have to sort of, if you're going to simplify things, you sort of have to choose what side you're on. Are you choosing to be a radiant source of light for people, such as an educational channel, or a strictly impartial news channel, or a comedy channel? Or are you choosing to use the dark powers, the dark mirror, to gain your fame and attention? And yeah, Onision he can be such a douchebag, and so intentionally, and he could do, Onision, you can be better than you are, honey. Like, do better, honey. Same thing with Logan Paul. You could do so much good. Stop showing off your fucking Gucci ring and start doing something with children, or doing something with old people, elderly people who are isolated, or fund a medical research company. Go find out what goes into an HPV, a cancer vaccine. You know what I'm saying? So Eric says, as much as I dislike Logan Paul, he made a mistake because he was blinded by the potential for views. Absolutely. He tries to treat the subject with respect, but he left the part in where he finds the body. He knew there was going to be backlash, but I don't think he truly thought it would be as profoundly negative as it's been. But again, maybe he did, and he doesn't care, because he's dabbing on the haters, and people will unsubscribe today, but eventually, because of the way YouTube's related videos system works, they'll be shown his content again, and they'll be back, or he'll make a video that's contrite enough that, people accept his apology. And they should, provided he does something positive, I think. He's allowed one big mistake, in my opinion. People are allowed one big mistake, but then two, that's where it's like, no. Yes, he's losing subscribers. Don't ever dab again. Why not? Here I'm dabbing. Just to annoy you. It's my choice to dab. This is where I get silly. I'm dabbing. Dab. So, whoa. Okay, this is sort of unrelated. Ovi's asking me, what do you think about dealing with eating disorders in the early stages? You should treat them as soon as you know they exist. I do not have experience with eating disorders. So Sinan says, I think Logan just wanted views. He showed the body and talked about it. Even if he blurred the face of the person, we get blinded by that fact because of everything. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand your comment. I think Logan just wanted views. He showed the body and talked. Yeah, he mainly wanted views. That's why people are objecting to the video. He wanted the views first and only cared about the person very, very secondarily, if at all, because he made jokes at the dead body's expense. He didn't immediately scream to call 911. He went over to his group of friends and was like, yo, I think I see a dead body, instead of being like, whoa, dude, there's an emergency, right? He didn't edit the video in such a way that was respectful and sad and paid homage to the person that chose to take their life. And he still asked people to subscribe to him, and he still wore a stupid hat. So yeah, I think him showing the body was just part of a greater problematic vlog in and of itself. I don't think he knew. He's too childish, says Eric. And I don't think Logan has any requirement to the world to do anything profound. It's a free market. If no one likes his content, he'll have to change. Nah, I am not that morally atheistic or agnostic. I do think that if you have a powerful position, I do think, artists should be afforded artistic license and freedom. But he has an audience of kids, and it's wrong to laugh off suicide, and it's wrong to exploit someone else's death for your own financial or subscriber or attention gain. That's my opinion. So Julia says, this is my way of reaching out. Well, Julia, where are you located? And there are other girls who have offered you assistance. You should look up a suicide prevention hotline. You should definitively start seeing a psychologist, and tell your parents or tell your doctor or tell your employer. It's always just a joke, isn't it? What do you mean? It's not a joke, Julia. Good night, Luis. So Lily says, I'm sorry this is off topic. Would you ever do a reaction video? I did reaction videos for years. I don't do them as much anymore. Now I'm more likely to go live to discuss issues. Tandem says, I came for Ray William Johnson. I stayed for PewDiePie. Yeah, we all did, because Ray William Johnson was the biggest YouTuber at one point. Then it was PewDiePie. Now it's Logan Paul. And then sure enough, in several years, it'll be somebody else. Someone said YouTube should delete Logan Paul's channel. I disagree. I think YouTube should give him a strike. So Nyack said, does anybody have the video downloaded? I tweeted it out on my Twitter, Davison Video. Sorry, I'm just going through your comments. Just a minute, guys. Sorry. None. Okay. So Tandem says it's already been re-uploaded several times. So Eric says he totally fucked up. I agree, but if he chooses to do shallow shit, that's his choice. He should use his influence for good, but he doesn't have to. I guess he doesn't have to. But if he doesn't do it more frequently, that makes him an unevolved human being. And if one believes in one gets more of what one puts out in the universe, he'll probably ensure his own downfall if he doesn't change. But maybe though, people love nothing more than a bad boy who's interesting. So being interesting matters more than being kind, which is unfortunate. So start rewarding kind content. If you want Logan Paul to change, don't watch his content that is douchey. Lucas says, where am I? You are on my stream. Big Bub says, I don't think people with power should be a thing that's forced to be role models. Well, I think just as human beings, our ethical responsibility is to be kind and be good. But I think that it's up to the platform in this case. I think it's going to be up to YouTube itself to enforce standards. That's the one issue. That's the double-edged sword of the internet. It's amazing because it's unregulated, but it's also terrible because it's unregulated. So YouTube this year has started to try to move towards more regulation, but unfortunately, as we all know, that ended up in the apocalypse, that felt apocalyptic, and that ended up in innocent people suffering, as opposed to it cleaning up the website. But I think then YouTube should clarify its policy on filming dead bodies or footage of cadavers, if this is something that's, should never happen again. And they should, if producers are part, meaning vloggers or talent or YouTube stars are part of its preferred Google Ads program, then they should vet every single video perhaps before it goes live. Because there can't be more than 1,000 channels that are a part of their preferred ads program at YouTube or their promoted channels program. So a team of 5 or 6 people could definitely manage 1,000 channels content per week. So Where in an individual, yes, I suppose is free to make selfish choices, I think ethically they shouldn't if they are an influential, powerful entertainer. So Big Bub says, yes, but ultimately what's considered acceptable is too subjective. No, like I said, I believe there are certain things that we can all pretty much agree are antisocial and should not be condoned by anyone. It's really? It's 1:24 a.m.? Holy shit, 1:46 a.m.? Oh my gosh, I had no idea. It's true, and I'm still talking. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. Davison, what can you do with 4:20? I could buy myself a coffee at Starbucks. So Paul says, I'm sorry I'm off topic. When did the stream start? The stream started almost 200 minutes ago. I've been talking for hours. Here in Ohio, it's 1:46 a.m. So Dawson says, YouTube won't delete his channel because YouTube makes the most money off of him. No, but YouTube severed ties to a certain degree with PewDiePie. So if they are offended enough by what he, his insensitivity on the topic and his choice to non-consensually air footage of a suicide victim, they absolutely, where was I going with this? Sorry, just a second. I'm losing steam. Just a second, guys. Yeah, YouTube will punish him and YouTube will cut ties with him and remove him from their ad program if he did something that violates their standards or they feel could generate far too much negativity for the website. Would you do a reaction video and it's 12:48 in Texas? Lily, yeah, this is going to count as my reaction video because after this broadcast wraps, which is probably going to be pretty soon, I will just leave it up so people can watch it. Three hours ago. I can't believe I've been talking for 3 hours. This is crazy. So sign in, you must be on the West Coast then. Okay, guys, I have been talking for hours. I'm probably keeping people up because it's 1:48 in the morning. So I'm going to say goodnight to David. Good night to everybody who's joined me for this stream. This has been my reaction to Logan Paul's selfish, immature display towards, display that was the Suicide Force vlog. I hope Logan Paul uses his fame for good in the future. I hope you guys all use your powers for good in the future. Be kind to others. If you are suffering psychologically, please reach out for help. Ask anyone, ask your friend, ask your next door neighbor. You're never alone and life can always get better. You just sometimes have to be patient or seek treatment. So good night to you guys. Much love. And if you want to find me on my main channel, it is Davison Video. So youtube.com/DavisonVideo1. There are holes in my sleeves because I wear this hoodie so much that it now has developed holes. So good night, guys. Have a great evening. I hope you learned something or I made you consider the topic in a different way that is positive. Bye, guys. Good night.